got a commercial business account. I've got quite a few phone lines on a commercial business account. So I said, well, hold on. I got one line that I don't even have to pay for, and it's not being used. So I told him, I said, bro, I said, you could put your phone on my line because there's an active line there with no phone on it. And all you have to do is just add your phone to that line, and it won't cost me extra money. So you don't got to pay me nothing. Then you take the extra money that you're not spending on that line and get your shit straight. You know, now his phone bill should be anywhere between $70 and $100 a month. And if he's paying that kind of money for a basic phone line, because he don't got a bunch of extra stuff, keep in mind I'm already paying for his Netflix because his Netflix is on my phone bill. I would be saving him $100 a month on his phone bill, 125 if you include the Netflix. So uh, at the end of a year, he's saving almost $1,500 a year by um letting me help him with this situation. Now, this is the part where you got to get better friends. Now, he needs help, financial help. He got a buddy who is willing to help him save 1,500 extra dollars a month, and then he is going to when I call him like, hey, because I texted him last week, so I did all of the stuff that you would do. I'm like, hey, so Thursday we're gonna go to the T-Mobile store and I'm gonna put you on, right? Cool. Well, actually, I just texted him Thursday T-Mobile because the conversation we had a week before that was that um because he called me for money and I said, well, why don't you just let me put you on? Because I've offered this to you before. You can't afford to pay your own phone bill. Why don't you let me put it on my bill? It's free for me and it saves you money, and then you don't have to keep calling me asking me for money. Because when you make an excuse that you can't afford to pay a bill and you have a free phone service with your homie and you're short on cash, why not partner with me and save you some money and then fix your finances? If you want to take the hard road and you want to pay for yourself and be misindependent, do that. But if you're going to be misindependent, when you call me, you can't call me and say, bro, I'm short. Because if you're short $50 and I could have saved you 175, then why the fuck are you calling me? Because you should have listened to me and you would not be short money, right? So he said, okay, okay, okay. Now that's when I told him, I said, okay, well, look, uh, next week we go to the store, we get you hooked up, right? So somehow he thought this was supposed to be over the phone. Now, I don't know how Gen Zs do it. I'm about to read Steven's comment. I don't know how Gen Zs do it, but he thought that he's got a T-Mobile phone, I got a T-Mobile phone, that he could cancel his phone line with T-Mobile, add his phone number to my phone line with T-Mobile over the phone, and still have his phone. Now, I don't know where his logic comes from. So I'm not going to call him a complete idiot. If anybody else does, I'll allow it. I'll even put it up on the screen. But in my experience with the plethora of phones that I have had, every time you add a a new number to your phone, you got to get a SIM card. Every time you change phone plans, where you cancel a line of service and start up a line of service, you get a new SIM card. If they turn off his current phone number, he won't be able to use his phone until he gets a new SIM card. Now, if I do this over the phone, they're going to mail him a SIM card, which means he's not going to have a phone for like a week. If he goes down to the store and buy the SIM card, the problem is because it's my account, I would have to go down to the store, show my ID, verify the situation, and then approve of him to get the SIM card. Probably even have to pay the SIM card myself so that he can get it, right? So that brings us back to we got to go to the store. I got to be at my store because we're not in the same area. And then he's got to be at his store. They're going to verify my ID at my store and tell the people at his store that he's good to go to do what he's got to do. Whatever needs to be paid for while I'm at the store is paid for. Then I leave. They set up his phone and he still has his phone same day. Now, this is where the situation goes sideways. He tells me, right, that it was my responsibility to explain to him all those details. No, I told you that I will hook you up if we go to the if we go to the store and meet up and get this done because we not in the same area. We are too far away from one another, right? When did his problem become your problem? Uh, okay, so he operates certain portions of my business where he's at. So to prevent him from uh 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 getting his panties in a twist, his problem becomes my problem, which again is why I'm talking about today how you got to get better friends, because you have to have financially stable individuals on your spot, because if not, you're gonna have to exhaust yourself to go and help them out. Now, this is the part. So it didn't affect me that much, but this is the part that I wanted to talk about with the idiocracy, because I was at the stove shopping, so I wasn't inconvenienced by this. The conversation I thought was stupid because he was talking over me and trying to tell me to shut up. And I'm like, you know what? I could just say fuck you and your financial problems, but I'm gonna try to help you out. He says I'm like a brother to him. And I'm like, no, that's not how we are, bro. Because this is like a mentorship situation. You're like a son to me because you're rebellious, disobedient, disrespectful. This isn't a brotherly. If we were brothers, there would be mutual respect where you would not disrespect me. You would appreciate what I'm trying to do for you, right? Hold on. Is he 31, bro? Going on 32. You know who I'm talking about. I ain't saying no names because I ain't never said his name on the show before, but you know who I'm talking about. Yes, the same one. Yes. So I'm like, the thing is that it makes no sense to me. So he tells me that I was supposed to explain that to him, that I screwed up because I didn't explain to him. I'm like, no, we agreed that we was gonna do this at the stove. So after we agreed that we was gonna do this at the stove, I said, look, um, my responsibility was to call you to organize when we were gonna meet today. That's what my job was. So, because we agreed that we were going to do this. So and then he's like, no, 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 shut the fuck up, shut the fuck up. Listen to me, listen to me. You were supposed to tell me that all of this was supposed to be done. And no, bro, I'm trying to save you $1,500 a year on my dollar. You're supposed to put yourself in a position to receive that. So as soon as I tell you I got the hookup, holla if you hear me. He's supposed to be able to, you know what I mean? He's supposed to be able to come through. So I told him, I said, the way this works is if I got an opportunity for you, you're supposed to ask me, where do I got to go to get the opportunity? That's how it's supposed to be. Now, I told y'all this gets stupid. I told y'all this gets stupid. Now, he comes and he tells me, after he tells me shut the fuck up, no, 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 this is what's supposed to happen. So if you got a friend that's got a $500 coupon and they offer you the $500 coupon, then you're supposed to ask them, how do you get the coupon? And then they're supposed to tell you where to go and what to do. And I said, oh, okay, now listen to what you just said. If I'm the one with the coupon, you the one supposed to ask me where to go to get it done. Then he hit me with some, man, I gotta go to work. I was like, look, we just gonna talk about this next week. But now that you know that the burden is on you, next week you gotta hit me. I didn't even tell him this part. So hopefully he's watching the show right now, because you're gonna have to contact me next week and be like what it is. When are we going to the stove? So that I can get to the stove, get to the nearest stove and verify so that you can get it done. Since I put in all of the effort and he's got all the information, if he don't call me next week, we're gonna be on the show. Michael, you gonna hit me up and be like, so Xander, did you get his phone turned back on? I'll be like, because when you in that situation, when you got one of your boys from way back, and we talk about way back. We talking about we met in like 2012, and it is 2026. So we've been around each other for a long ass time. And so when his phone get cut off and I can't get in touch with him, I'm like, man, I could have been fixed this problem for you, bro. Does he watch the show? Yeah, he watched the show. Yeah, he watched the show. Matter of fact, he gets notifications about the show. That he thinks I'm a dick. No, he think I'm a dick because I'm talking about him. But that's okay. When I used to talk about him while he was on the show, I if I got some highlight reels, in the archives from 2 years ago when, when he told me, "Look, I'm about to blast it without blasting anybody who want to know what the real deal is. I'm gonna tell you right now, Michael. If you go back through the long forms to there was a one show that we did where we were talking about how strippers and call girls and people like that are not careers, not real jobs, and that the women's mentality that chooses those types of jobs are not the mentality of a woman that will support a man, right? So I didn't say nothing negative about the women per se, but I said that those are not the type of jobs that you would find a high quality woman with. He knows wide open, co-signed on the fact that it would be. Now, a couple months later, he took over some of my airtime and talked about how he was pissed off at this stripper that he was hooking up with, that he was treating like a girlfriend, and he needed some finances to be arranged. He talked to her. She was supposed to hook him up. He never got anything from her, but the other female that friend zoned him helped him out with it. So there's more than one female that don't want to date him. But but the point was he was so pissed off because he thought that with all the stuff that he did with the call girl, that the girl would have backed him up when he was in a tight spot. And what I did was I took the show when he was making a misstatement about how you can count on a certain mentality as a ride or die chick, and then cutscened it too when he was talking about how pissed off he was about how he was wrong. And it's like I think a 30-second countdown from when he was talking about how good the call girls and escorts were, and then it flips to when he was like, man. So no, you think he ain't gonna think you're a dick, he's gonna think I'm a dick. Because I get in here, and if it doesn't make sense, I'm gonna talk about it. I ain't gonna name no names, but this archive go back way back. Yeah, but he was on the show a couple years ago, in 24. So you gotta scroll, right? And the only ones that I took down a lot of the long forms from back in 24, but all the shorts are still there. So well, no, I took down all of the lives from before 24, but all of the long forms and the shorts from 24 are still up there. So you could go back and look and see, like, damn. Now, Steven said a lot of communication is nonverbal. At least she didn't give you the Gen Z stare after you talked to her. Uh, she saved you the energy of even speaking. Oh, look, you are so right. Now, I understand the nonverbal cues, and I did not get offended per se about the nonverbal cues, because at least if so this is the conflict that I had with this, because I'm at the grocery store loading up my car with more groceries than Santa's sled. Okay. I'm talking about a mountain of groceries, about 70 or 80 bags of groceries. Okay. This was like 6 trips between two people to the house. Okay. I was loading up the car on the passenger side of the car, the rear passenger side of the car. I have my rear passenger side door open. I am the driver. And this is the part that I got confused about, because she gave this nonverbal cue like she wasn't interested in me coming to talk to her, like me walking around the back of my car to close my door and get into the driver's seat was my walking around the back of the car to come over and talk to her. If I would have walked around the front of the car, I still gotta close the door. So this is the part that I'm sitting over here thinking like she was doing a little too much, because there you my car. So from the Walmart, my car can be seen from across the street. So she saw me and my father loading this car up as she crossed the street. She saw my father walking away from the car with a shopping cart as she approached my vehicle. She seen me close the door and start walking around the back of my car as she's walking past my car. What in that scenario would make you think I was going to approach and talk to you? That is the part that I got pissed off about. I respect the nonverbal cue that she went from pushing her cart to using her cart as a shield. It was like a clutch purse mechanism where she didn't want me to talk to her. But what in your mind gave you the entitlement that I was going to do anything more than watch your booty jiggle as you walk down the sidewalk? That's what I was thinking of that situation because my rear driver's side door was sitting open with a dog in the car off the leash, and my rear passenger side door was open with groceries being loaded into the car. So somebody's got to close the rear driver's side door, and if one person is walking away with the shopping cart, another person's got to close the door. But I had to put the dog in the seatbelt first and then close the door. Once she realized I was going to take care of the back seat, that's when she went back to pushing the cart normally. But I was like, did she come over to you? She had, yeah. So she came, and that's the thing. So if like you got the walkway right here, you got my car right here. My car is long ways right here. I'm loading up the car. She comes from the store. She walks directly past my car and then walk out in front. So if my car was right here, she walked past the driver's side of my car. I'm coming around the back of my car. So we were both over here on the rear passengers or the rear driver's side of my car as I close my rear door and get into the driver's side. And then she walked. So she could have straight up walked down the street on the passenger side of the car and walked straight past like everybody else was doing. He said, "Was she parked next to you?" No, she was in the same aisle. If the aisle was here, I was on this side of the aisle at the beginning of the aisle in the handicap spaces because my father is 70 something years old with a walker. She was halfway down the aisle on the other side. So if she didn't want me to talk to her, honest to God, she could have walked down the other aisle away from us. Her deliberately beelining in front of me and then scooting on around like she feeling herself a little too much. Some people have main character syndrome, bro. But you look. That was the funniest part because not only was she feeling herself, she put herself in a gold digger situation where had I been riding in a Rolls Royce or a Maserati or some shit like that, she would have had to stop and come talk to me because she deliberately in Walmart, the handicap spaces are the first handful of spaces next to the building. And I'm in one of the horizontal spaces, not the diagonal spaces. I'm one of the long, straight park space, and I'm parked wrong. I backed into the space, so I'm against traffic. I could have got a ticket, but Walmart don't ticket for shit. So in the long way, instead of her walking down the aisle where her car was, she's walking through the handicap area where my car is, walk in front of my car, and then walk down the aisle on the side where her car is. So like you're deliberately passing me because you see two men loading a grocery cart. You could have made it a point to go around the other way. And then this is the funny part. The damn cart was empty. She ain't had groceries in the damn cart. So she didn't need to mosey on down with the damn cart to her car. She could have left the cart in the store and then she could have just walked all the way around. When we think about this, y'all, she was doing way too much. But she got to be the main character of her own story and be able to go and tell her homegirl, oh yeah, this dude was looking at me when I was walking to the. Did I say no? Hell no! I didn't even say don't worry, my dog won't bite because the dog was just sitting there in the back seat looking at her. I just put his seatbelt on and closed the door, got in the driver's side of the car, turned on the engine. And since I was waiting on my father to come back and get in the car, I was watching her booty jiggle down the parking lot. That's it. That's it. Look. I done already told y'all, as higher value men, if we change our mentality, because I'm not looking for a woman just to jump off with. If we're looking for a partner that we're going to build and grow with, I'm looking for somebody that's going to be like, oh, okay, you are looking out for your folks because you and your family is going shopping. I value that. Let me get your number. Maybe we can connect sometime. That's what I'm looking for. I'm not looking for the kind of chick where I gotta, hey, ma'am, miss, babe, whatever, and chase her down a parking lot. Oh, let me get your number. And her vehicle was an old school vehicle like my vehicle. She had like a RAV, a Forerunner or some shit like that, like a 1997 Forerunner. So her 1997 Forerunner, and my 2003 Chrysler 300, like we were both riding old school cars. On a scale from 1 to 10, what was her rating? Well, if we go on just looks alone, ignoring the fact that her hair was fake, I would have put her somewhere around a 7 or an 8. Just looks alone. But fake hair, if we understand what her real hair would have looked like, she probably like a 6, 7 at best. Okay. Attitude knocks it down to like a 5. Okay. She was appropriately dressed though. She wasn't dressed like no slut. She had the long not sweatpants, but the windbreakers. So she had long green windbreakers. She had a shirt that was covering her whole midsection and some sleeves and stuff. She From what I seen, there wasn't really much cleavage showing. So she was conservatively dressed, but she had that weave. She had that weave, and she might have would have had those eyelashes. I didn't get a chance to look her in the face. From what I saw a shopper cart. Then I saw some white sneakers. Then I saw the green pants and the booty jiggle. Then I seen the white top with the short sleeve shirt. And before I could see the face, I seen her starting to move around the shopper cart. And I'm sitting over here like, bitch. Today wasn't a day for me to talk to a female, no way. But you just you find yourself before we got started. But like Steven said, she saved me the trouble. But it's the dynamic. So when we talk about on the show about how we have to improve ourselves as men, we have to improve what we're looking for. Her attitude is a type of red flag that a lot of thirsty dudes would have ignored that. It don't matter if she's moving around the shopping cart. They would have ran over there and they would have went and chased her. She might have would have had the fake nails, but I didn't look at her hands. I noticed that she was holding the cart and then she stopped holding the cart. And she might have had the fake eyelashes because that seems to be a trend in this generation. So if she would have been between 18 and 25, she likely would have had the fake eyelashes, and she likely would have had the fake nails, even if they were subtle, unless she couldn't afford them and her nails would have been all fucked up this week. But um, when we're looking at character instead of looks, because a lot of men chase women based on how they look, not how they behave. I, in my 40s, am paying attention to how women behave. Yes, I am still going to pay attention to how you look. So you're still going to have that Holly Berry body. You're not going to be able to walk up to me looking like what's her name? Sister. You can't be Queen Latifah size. You can't. Oh, Kim from I can't think of the rest of it. Y'all know who I'm talking about. The look. So let me itemize it like this. If you shape like an M&M, it's not gonna work out for me. If you got a Coke bottle figure, we might be able to talk. And if it's a natural Coke bottle figure where you didn't have to pay for surgery to get it, then we can really talk. You know what I mean? He said, "What's the deal with weaves instead of natural hair?" Fact is that I am not actually attracted to the weave because a woman wants me to accept her for who she is. So I'm gonna match that energy by saying that you're going to have to meet me without your weave in. You're going to have to talk to me without your makeup on. You're going to have to take off your girded belt, your waist trainer. You're going to have to take off the pants to lift your butt up and everything like that. I want to see what you really look like so that if I can be attracted to who you are on them days when you don't feel like dolling yourself up, I want to be attracted to that person. That way, if I'm more attracted to the way you doll yourself up, then we all right. But I don't want to be attracted to a person because of how much money and time that you put into your looks. Then when you take all that stuff off, I'm no longer attracted to you. That's going to be another reason why a lot of men are going to be interested in more foreign women because the Western women spend so much time on their looks and they do it so often that it becomes a routine. Women make the excuse in Western culture, we just like to switch it up. But you switch it up so much. When's the last time you went natural? So many women in America do not know what their natural look would attract because they have not gone natural for so long. They're actually embarrassed They won't admit it, but they're embarrassed by their natural looks. So on the day when they got the shower cap on all day because their hair ain't right, they don't go outside because their makeup ain't right. They don't come to the door, or they don't get on a live. They don't do video call because the clothes they're wearing ain't right. Those are the days that I want to see what the fuck you look like. Because once we get married, that's what the fuck I'm gonna be looking at the house when you don't feel like leaving the house, when you're cramping and you don't feel like your stomach hurting all kind of ways, you're sick, you don't want to go nowhere. That's the day when I'm gonna see the worst side of you. I want to see what that looked like before I fall for it. So these females that are running out there, dolling themselves up and putting all this extra makeup on, putting all this extra hair on. I already told y'all, 800 to 1,000, 1,500, $2,000 a month that these women spend on their looks. That's like 24,000 a year that they could be putting in a brokerage account. They could be quarter millionaires in 10, 15 years on their own merit, where the residual money from that investment, they could pay for a stylist, they could pay for all the stuff that they want to pay for, and they standard of living would be covered, and they could doll themselves up later in life, right? They're not thinking about that right now. They're thinking about, I want to be cute. I want to attract that sexual attention so that I can get that sexual energy to have that dude come and talk to me. But then when you doll yourself up and then you deliberately position yourself walking past a man's mode of travel in order to get that attention, because y'all understand the story. I explained to y'all word for word how it is. If I'm on the left side of the aisle and my car is in the parking lot, the handicap parking space, the very first handicap parking space, backed into the parking space on the left side of the aisle, you can read my license plate from the Walmart door. Her car is on the right side of the aisle, 75% down the aisle by the first row of shopping carts. So she got to walk. She could have left her shopping cart in the store and walked down the right side of the aisle and never came in contact with me. But she literally walked past my car, walked in front of my car, and then went to the right side of the aisle and went to her car. And for what? For what? So that she could avoid me. Once she seen what kind of dude I was, I guess. You didn't like what kind of car I was driving. You know, you wasn't dodging me because you saw the gun. You wasn't dodging me because you seen that big ass crocodile Dundee knife. You know what I mean? If you was dodging the dog, I mean, at the end of the day, the dog wasn't moving. But it's the principle of the fact, like, damn, but when we say like we're not attracted to that, we say that we're not attracted to that, and then we double back and we look at why a lot of men are going after some of the white women, natural long hair. They're not. If they style it, they style it. If they don't, it's just there. The Asian women, the Latino women, the other Brazilian women, the Haitian women that come, their hair is just, it is what it is. It's froed out, whatever the case may be. They're not putting all that extra effort like the Western culture is doing. When men are looking for natural women, they're not looking in America because the women in America don't want to look natural, and that's one of the wildest things. So I don't just tell y'all what I tell y'all on this show. I actually learn these things. I teach it to y'all, and then I practice what I preach in real time. So back, I want to say 15, 20 years ago. Oh, you said, I'm sorry, she ruined your day. No, she didn't ruin my day. No, so this is the wildest part. Okay, so I woke up, I went with fam to the checkup. I left the checkup. We went to the post office. We went to Walmart. All of this stuff happened at Walmart because we were grocery shopping. The phone call did not interfere with my grocery shopping. Me loading the car, this chick didn't interfere with me grocery shopping. She didn't interfere with me. I didn't miss a beat. I put the dog in a seatbelt, got into my seat, closed the door, started the engine, waited on my pops. He got in the car and we drove past her. You know what I mean? And we went to the house. I just thought that it was entertaining that she thought that I was going to delay my life for her. I spent more time in the Walmart talking to Adam about how he makes custom gun holsters for the guns that I got and the custom knife holster for the knives that I got on my person. I spent more time talking to him in the grocery store than what that interrupted my grocery shopping than what I did even staring at her booty cheeks or walking down the aisle outside the store. You know what I mean? I I look, and this is the wildest part because you sorry she ruined my day. I got a number at the store from the guy that's gonna sell me holsters for my guns. I, I met a new broski at the store, but that chick, I didn't even pull my cell phone out of my pocket. I had two cell phones on me, and I did not pull one cell phone out of my pocket. I pulled my keys out of my pocket to start up my car after I put my dog in the seat. I ain't even, but I guess she thought because I was looking at her, because I'm not gonna lie, I was looking at her. I seen her from the front, and the only thing I wanted to do was see what it looked like from the back. So I watched her walk by as I went to the car. But I wasn't gonna go over there and go talk to her. And we're gonna be covering that on the show next week. Why are successful men not trying to go and talk to these women? Because we talked about why we benefit from don't talking to these women, but next time we're gonna be talking about why we don't want to go and talk to these women no more. Because and I can tell you on the shorthand, it's because it's a waste of fucking time. It's a waste of time, right? Now we just spent half the show on these two people. Let's go ahead and get to today's main topic because and I wanted to talk about that real quick because you know when you're trying to improve your social network, you're trying to improve your character, you're trying to improve your vibe, right? You are not going to attract gold digger mentality when you're carrying yourself successful. So, I'm out here in a suit. I'm out here even in a dress casual suit. She's gonna see this dude that is not dressed like a thug. She's not attracted. She's not interested. She's gonna use the card as a shield. That's fine. Like Michael said, I mean, like Steven said, that's gonna be a saving grace kind of situation. Because if I would have had the thought in my mind that I would want to go and talk to her, she showed me without telling me that she wasn't interested. So out of the whole story, I tried my best not to disrespect the woman while I was describing the scenario, but out the whole story, it pattern for letting me know without saying anything that she wasn't interested because that at the body language itself by moving further away as she passed by, the body language itself lets me know she's not interested. And then instead of me pressuring her to talk to me by coming over there and talking to her anyway, I'm able to respect the fact that she gave me that clue that she wasn't interested. And that keeps us from having a situation. I would prefer outside of the fact that she put herself in the position to be approached, which that's the part I thought was stupid, that she put herself in a position to he said can't get it up anyway. Oh no. Oh no, we got morning wood every day of the week. But look, uh she was she was running. She was running. She was running. But I'm not gonna chase her. I'm like the villain in the scary movie, bro. No matter how much you run, I will always be right there. When you turn around, I will be right there. Matter of fact, when she looked at her rear view mirror, the back of her vehicle, I was right behind her car driving past. No matter how far, no matter how fast you run, I'm not interested. I'm not a chaser. That's one of the funniest parts. Women like that chase. I don't like that chase. They get a thrill out of that. Like Steven said, that it makes them the star character of their own show. But to me, it's unattractive because, like I said, if I'm looking for a partner, I don't need to be looking for my partner once I found my partner. You feel me? We're supposed to be growing together. We're supposed to be building together. If first contact is me cat and mouse, that's not good because then what is it that she would be talking to me for? Because if she was running from me, now I got to convince her to stay. And if I'm convincing her to stay, what am I going to do? I'm going to bribe her. Let me pay for dinner. Let me pay for this. Let me pay for that. Let me spend money. And I've already told y'all that's a bad position. If I can't get your mutual respect off of first contact, there is no reason for me to pursue it any further. I dodged the bullet not because she's a bad woman in and of itself, but because I would have had to buy her attention long enough for her to see my value. And if she's paying attention to my spending instead of paying attention to my effort, then she's only going to be looking for the spending. And then I don't have what I'm looking for. And that's not what we're supposed to be trying to chase. She should be open minded to the opportunity that I might have value, and then look at what value that is outside of finance. And if I have the values that she's looking for, because like I've been telling y'all for the longest period of time, is that women need to be, if a woman wants a man to protect and provide, and let's get the provider off the table since women want to be able to take care of themselves. If you're looking for a man that's going to protect you, if you're looking for a man that's going to be responsible in your presence, if you're looking for a man that is not going to fuck up your money since you're an alpha boss lady and you're self successful, you need to be on first contact, making sure that this man got good decision making skills. So it's not how much money he got in his wallet, what kind of car he drives, what kind of house he's got. It is, does this man make good choices or not? Does he have a good dialogue? Does he have the ability to articulate information? Does he have the capacity to retain information and produce that information when needed? Does he have the ability to do research and find another way? Does he have the ability to find solutions to problems that exist that doesn't require him to pay her bills to test that theory? And that means that if you walking past me with a shopper cart and you see me coming around to the driver's side of the car, if you're gonna stop, you stop. If you're not gonna stop, you're gonna keep walking, but you're not gonna to pivot because what if I'm not interested? But if I am, you should be open minded to the fact that if you're not in a relationship right now, this guy might be the one. Now, why would I say that? Because you're not going to find the right one in a nightclub. You're not going to find the right one in a strip club. You're not going to find the right one at the mall spending money. Mama always said, you know what you're getting based off of where you get them from. If you meet somebody while spending money, that person is spending money too. You meet somebody that's being while being irresponsible, that person's irresponsible too. You're going to find the right type of person with the right type of character in certain places. You will find a hardworking person at their job. Where are all the good women at? At their job. You will find the right type of person. A good man is not going to be out on a nightlife. A good man you're going to find at the grocery store. Yeah, I was trying to get to Claudia. The whole screen froze. How you doing, Claudia? Uh, so when I tell people about it, is it what? Does he have more than one tooth in his mouth? Yeah, does he have more than one teeth in his mouth? That's what you need to be trying to find out. How many teeth is in his mouth? Yes. That's the kind of stuff that people need to be paying for. The good woman is here. Yeah, one of them. One of them. So with Claudia's here waiting on Nicole to show up, and then Cardinal Rules will show up. We got at least three women that come onto the show and dive into the comments. A lot of the rest of them just linger in the background and listen. But yeah, I thought that was pretty interesting. But because when we're trying to find a women of value, we're going to be looking in. We need to be looking in the grocery store. We need to be looking at the library and places where like they're being responsible on the job. So depending on what job they have, depends on what kind of character they have. Because if they're working in a restaurant or something like that, they're going to be a hard worker. But if they're at a strip club, they ain't really putting in much effort to get nothing done. See what I'm saying? So flip that script and you got women looking for a good man. If you're looking for a good man, you're going to find a good man at a grocery store. You're going to find a good man loading up all the groceries on his car. You're going to find a good man pushing a wheelchair. You're going to find a good man helping somebody into the car. You're going to, and this is going to be the characteristics of the person. You're not looking for, your sister, made a bad choice. Her sister. No, 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 no. Do you want me to tell him? I'm not gonna tell him the whole story, but let's just say that her ex is her sister's current. I'm gonna leave it at that. And I'm just gonna say that she made bad choices. Your sister made bad choices with that. So, you know. You're not gonna find good women at church. You're gonna find retired hoes at church. Church, this is the I got no disrespect for religion. However, the people who go to the local churches, at least the Baptist and Seventh Day Adventist churches and some of the Catholic churches that I have had the ability to visit, are typically born again individuals where they have made the worst choices in life, and then they go to church and turn their life over to Jesus. Now, these are individuals that were gang members, strippers, all of this other stuff, con artists, everything to this effect. And some of the best con artists are pastors and churches, because they're going to talk you out of your money and never do anything to help you out. And then at the end of the day, they go to the church and they're doing their sermons and everything to that effect. And you got strippers at the church that communion and then go back to the club on the weekend. The whole New Testament behavior is about deliberately committing sin with full knowledge that what you're doing is a sin, and then asking for forgiveness on Sunday and then doing it back again on Friday. And every time you ask for forgiveness, you're going to be forgiven. So you'll always go to heaven no matter how much sin you commit, because Jesus died on the cross for your sins so many millennia ago. So all of the sins that you have done, all the sins you will do, are all forgiven. So all you got to do is say, "Oops, my bad," and you can keep sinning. That, in my opinion, I'm like, bro, that's bullshit. So when you go to the church, that's not the place to find high value quality women. It's not the place. That's going to be the place where all the retired hoes go. That's not going to be the place. Man, I thought I'd find my one in the church. No, ma'am. No, ma'am. You're not even going to find high quality men in the church. You're not going to find high quality men in the church, because the men at church are only going to church to find church hoes. And this is the wild part about it. The wild part about it. The men that are at the church, single men that are at the church, have heard it from their homeboys that the women at the church are putting on a front. The rumor already around it. So these are going to be the women that have been faking it till they make it and pretending the whole time for society, for the validation in the congregation. And those are going to be the ones that'll smash you in the coat closet, right? So single dudes go to churches to pick up chicks. Single dudes go to weddings to pick up chicks. Weddings usually happen at churches. They go to funerals to pick up chicks. Funerals happen at churches. Wakes happen at the church. You know what I'm saying? They go to the church to pick up chicks. That's not the place to go pick up a wife, because they're not picking up chicks for a long-term commitment. They're picking up chicks for the hookup, the one night stands. I don't need to know your name. Let's smash in the bathroom somewhere and go on about our day. So the mentality of a man in a church who's not sitting next to his wife and his kids is, I wonder if one of these women will sleep with me. The mentality of a man that is there with his wife and his kids is, I wonder if she can take the kids for the weekend so that I can sleep with the other woman that is sitting next to that man. Yeah, the man room. So you're not the church is not the place to go look for a significant other. It's not. It's not. Now, not all the women in the church are hoes, because you got the ones that are like 17, 18, 19 years old. If they not the pastor's daughter and rebelling against the system, then the higher the reputation of the pastor of the church, the lower the reputation of the daughter of the church, because she's going to completely rebel against his expectations. And whatever he says is a sin, she's going to try to commit as many of those as possible to piss him off. So you don't want the daughter of the church. But the other members of the church, their kids, they might be good to you know pick up, or whatever the case may be, because they just showing up. So you're not going to find, like, all of the women are not going to be tainted, but that's not the place to go to find quality women. She said, "I'm cooked." Oh, Claudia, if you go to church because you go to church, I mean, I'm not saying that, you know you're not going to get picked up out of the church by a man that's looking for a wife. He said, "I sound like I got to visit a church." Exactly. Yes. Yes. If you go, and you got to go to a church with a young congregation, because the churches with the old congregation, those are going to be the churches where everybody's going to be well behaved. But if you talk to them during lunch about their past, they will tell you some of the wildest Woodstock stories you have ever heard. So it's not like they have not committed enough sin in their day, and once they retired out of sex, drugs, and alcohol, that they need to behave in the church. So in the church, you're gonna all the men can expect is retired whores, but the women are not going to find quality men in the church either. The value of men is not there, because these are guys who have destroyed something in their lives and they are repenting by going to church. So it's not people who are in the church because they value their religion or they value, their souls in the afterlife. These are people that are atoning for great wrongs that they have gotten away with in their past, and now they're in the church trying to make it right. But the more good deeds somebody is trying to do, that's the darker the past they have. So let this guy that's coming up and giving like 80 hours a week to the church for free, that's a murderer that killed a bunch of people and nobody caught him, and he's in here trying to atone for his sins. That's the weirdest part. See, I like the older age. Yeah, well, women are going to get the. That's going to be another thing. We have not gotten to today's show, but we're going to get to it today because I got nothing to do till tomorrow afternoon. She said, I like the older age men. Well, most women do. Holy rollers. Exactly. 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 Look, blood of Christ is a bottle of wine. So he turned water into wine, and they're not doing the blood of Christ with water. They're doing blood of Christ with wine. They're not even doing the blood of Christ with alcohol free wine. They're doing blood of Christ with alcohol. Okay. Why? Where in the Bible does it say that you must use the alcohol as the blood of Christ? Well, if I'm going to be here all day, I might as well get a shot. 15 years younger than me. That actually, Michael, is a reasonable assumption, but the true match for a man is 50% of his age plus 7. So since you're 71 years old, 70 years old, you're probably looking at 35 or 36 plus 7, which would put you somewhere around maybe 42, 43, 44, something like that. So with you being 71, a 44 or 45-year-old woman be right up your alley. Y'all will be on the same wavelength, same mentality. At my age, at about 41, 42 years old, 50% of my age will be about 21, 22 years old, plus 7, which be about 28, 29 years old. Still in the reproductive era, still able to mesh with. I can still have between 30 and 40 at least 5 or 6 kids with. But her mentality at 28 years old would be the type of mentality that she need to get her shit together. And I'm working on expanding a 20-year plan for my shit to be together. So we would be on the same wavelength. If I was picking up a girl that is 22, 18, that's going to be somebody that's a one night stand or friends with benefits kind of situation, because unless I find the one that wants to build a life at 18, 19, 20, 21, 22, it would just be a fling and she will move on to the next fling, right? So it's a huge change that people don't pay attention to. The women do mature faster than men, and the reason why women mature faster than men is because women get adult responsibility at a younger age. Women are babysitting their younger siblings at a younger age. The first job they have is a babysitter before they start doing manual labor. Then outside of a babysitter, it's a housekeeper. So the two major skill sets that a woman needs to be a good wife is the two first jobs that a woman will get is a housekeeper and a babysitter, and then a tutor. Those are the three things that a woman can do before she starts washing dishes at a restaurant and stocking shelves at Walmart. Is a nanny, and then a housekeeper, and then a tutor. Right now, outside of following instructions, like at 12, 13, 14, 15 years old, she's learning all the qualities of being a wife. But 16, 17, 18 years old, the other girls in the school is teaching her how to be a hoe. So by the time she's 20, 21, 22, she didn't learn the whole lifestyle, but did not learn the wife lifestyle. And she doesn't start realizing what it takes to be a wife until she's 30. So as a man, if you're looking for a quality woman, you're looking for them at a younger age. You're looking for them with less baggage because they're going to have less trauma. But then you're looking for someone that's going to cooperate with you. But as a man, you can wait. A man doesn't have to rush and get a wife, because women are looking for men that are financially stable, and men start getting their shit together between 30 and 40, and the men are not going to solidify that success until they're 50 or 60. So when Claudia said that she liked older men, you're right, Claudia. Your best bet is to look at a man that's 55 years old, because he's still young enough to get it up, but he's old enough to have his money together. At least for the last 15 years, his finances have been in order, which means that you're going to find a better quality man at 55 years old. So if you're 35 or 40 years old and you got a man that's 55 years old, he's about 15 years older than you, but 55 years old, half of 55 is going to be what, 27, 28 years old, plus 7 is going to be uh 35, 30, 35, 38. So Claudia, you're right in in the ballpark of a 55-year-old man. And if he's not trying to have any more kids, you already got a kid, he can adopt your whole family and have the nuclear family scenario and not have to do anything else. And your kids are out of the diaper phase. So all he's got to do is teach the boys how to behave responsibly as men. He's got a little buddy to be a mentor to. That's it. Women with children do have value as long as they're willing to be responsible about their relationship with the new man that they get. It's just that a lot of women focus so heavily on the kids which is okay as a responsible mother, but they do it so well that they tunnel vision the kids so well to the point that there isn't enough room for a new person to come in, because there's only two ways that it's going to work. You're going to have the woman that solely focuses on her children and she has no time for the new man, or she forgets about the children and puts all of her attention on the new man. And then you have resentment from the children on the new man. So it's hard to bring a new person into the scenario, because just like men don't have the ability to find balance with their work and their personal life, women don't have the ability to find balance between motherhood and their personal life. And that's one of the reasons why men don't date women with children. It's not because women with children are bad. It's just because women with children are harder to deal with because they're a package deal. You don't know when it's a good time to meet the kid, and you have to accept the fact that she's going to cancel a lot of the times because there's something going on with the kid. There's a lot of stuff that you got to deal with, that, like paying for babysitters and shit like that. Only if she likes the adventure. That's right. And dogs and lots of dogs. When you your environment raises you, so you spend more time being raised by society than your family. And that's why they used to say back in the day that it takes a village to raise a child. So when you're looking for a high quality woman, the one of the things that you're going to have is, if you go to a country that has a culture that is family oriented, you're going to find women in that culture that are family oriented. You're in a Western culture where all the women are teaching other women how to mistreat and devalue men, use the men, and then stay single. You're gonna, each woman that you find, you have to bribe, because the majority of the women that you find are not looking for a man, they're looking for a financial subsidy. And once they get older, they're going to be looking for a man 30, 35, 40 years old. They're going to be looking for companionship. But 18, 19, 20, 28, they're not looking for the companionship when they have the most value. Women age like spoiled milk and men age like fine wine. The older it gets, the better it is with men. The older it gets, the worse it is with women, because they have less to offer. Men have more to offer. Men have more finances than women when men get older. But women are not bearing children at 40 years old. And if the women don't have the finances to put a few dozen eggs on the shelf so that they can get a surrogate when they're in their 40s, the women can't even naturally reproduce after 40. Not safely. So that means that the only value that the woman is going to have is cooperating with the man's agenda. And by 35, 40 years old, women don't want to cooperate with a man's agenda. They want a man to cooperate with her agenda. Now, if the man is going to pay for your standard of living for the rest of your life, what value are you to him if he has to dance to your tune when he making all the money? He building the lifestyle. Women do not age like wine, bro. Women do not age like wine. Their attitudes get worse. And the what okay, so if we got a woman that is financially cooperating, she can put her money with your money and y'all can make money together. We're gonna be talking about that either next week or the week before that, because we're gonna be covering another show about how couples can build themselves up financially and be successful. If she's taking care of herself, and if y'all got kids, she's taking care of the kids, and she's not doing shit for you, at the end of the day, you're taking care of her and you're taking care of the kid. She's taking care of her, she's taking care of the kid. Nobody's taking care of you. You are not in a relationship where everybody's being taken care of. And when you get a woman that's not reproducing kids, not because she has a health issue that prevents it from kids, she just doesn't want to, or she has crossed the age limit where she can safely have that. You having a legacy is no longer there. So you can't have any more children with this woman unless you get a child outside of the relationship. So now if you're dating this girl that's 40, 50 years old, she can't have children. You still want to be a father. You have to decide, give up on your dreams or cheat on her, right? Now, in this dynamic, if you're giving up on your dreams, we have to ask a lot of women, would you give up on your dreams for your man? Most women would say no. Now, why does a man have to give up on his dreams for the woman? That's a problem. Women are not aging like wine because the older she gets, the less she has to offer. But outside of that, having a woman that can cooperate with the man, like Claudia will work, she can help cooperate with the man. That allows them to build financial success. She still has value. But when she can no longer produce a legacy, she doesn't have the kind of value as a woman that's half her age that would still be able to do what she's doing and still give him 3 kids. But if she finds a man that doesn't want kids, then she still has value if she's willing to not just work, but work and help him make them financially successful. So that means that all women are supposed to be paying attention to, upon first contact, the mentality of the man, not the size of his wallet, so that um, she can determine that he is a good decision maker, so that she can determine that he is financially responsible, so that she can determine that he doesn't just have good ideas, he actually puts forth effort to turn those good ideas into profits, right? And then she's going to help him get there. And by helping him get there, she's entitled to his estate. That's what makes the wife. He said, if you nurture it, gotta water it and pull the weeds from her garden, bro, you're gonna have to go out there with a weed whacker and mow all that bush down. Then the relationship falls. Welcome to society. Yeah, the relationship is gonna fall, and that's one of the reasons. Oh, it's gonna fail, but that's one of the reasons why you're gonna see a lot of individuals that are turning away from the modern Western culture. They're not even interested anymore. And they'll look, like I was talking to y'all about earlier today, we'll look, but not gonna say a word, not even gonna wave, you know, and then just go on about your day, right? Is that you even realize how life is based on misery than happiness? Yeah, it is. Because we can only determine how much things suck because we're comparing how much we have versus how much other people have. And then we only are able to determine that life is not good based off of how long life was stable or how long life was exciting and now life is miserable and now we're going and we're determining that it is miserable because we no longer have what we used to have. We no longer benefit from things that we used to benefit from, so we don't like all of that. She says, so I have no value if my ovaries don't work anymore. Uh, no, you have less value if your ovaries don't work anymore. So all the women that are getting abortions until they're 40, talking about in their 30s that they're thinking about motherhood eventually. If you're not putting your ovaries on the shelf where you can get a surrogate and then be a mother at 45, 50 years old, you're not able to genetically reproduce in any way, shape, or form, whether it's artificial or not, right? So you have value even though your ovaries don't work. You might not have the value of a woman that can produce a legacy, but you do have the value of a woman that can partner with a man and make financial success. But that still requires a lot of responsibility from the woman to be obedient towards the man. And women don't like the word obedient, but in order, because women do not ask a man what he wants, what he needs, and how can I help, those three questions right there turns the word obedient to cooperation. But because you don't ask, what do you need? What can I do for you? And how can I help? You know, what do you want? What do you need? What can I do to help you? You don't ask those questions to men. And because you don't ask those questions where you're willing to listen to it so he can tell you what he needs, what he wants, what's not there, what needs to get done and he doesn't have time to get done, so that you can just get in there and make things easier by accomplishing the things that he doesn't have time for. Since women don't ask for that, men have to say, I need you to go to the store and get X, Y, and Z. I need you to take the car to the shop. I need you to call the repairman. I need you to get the plumber. I need you to do this. I want something to eat. I need some clean clothes, and I don't have time to do the laundry. I need to have my clothes ironed, but I got in at 2 o'clock in the morning. I got to get up at 6 and take the kids to school on the way to work. I need, I want is what men have to say, because women don't ask, what do you need? What do you want? And what can I do for you? Now, women who have had long relationships over the course of their lifetime where they did listen to some men back in the day, those women don't necessarily have to be told what to do, because a lot of men are very predictable. We mostly need the same shit. We mostly want the same shit. So if you've done it for another man before, you're doing what you think I need because you've done it for another man, but you're not asking me what I need. So if you do something without me having to tell you about it because you didn't ask me, then that's a benefit. But if you do something because you thought that I would have needed that without asking, and I don't appreciate that because that's not what I needed you over here, you're going to be mad because you thought that all men are the same. All men are not the same, but we are very common. We are very predictable. Every man is going to need clean clothes. Every man is going to need a meal in their stomach, and no man takes care of themselves. So the basic needs of human life that men sacrifice, all men sacrifice, are the basic needs of human life that women predict. And that's why women believe that all men want a woman barefoot and pregnant in the kitchen, cooking and cleaning and doing a man's laundry, because no man cooks for himself on a regular basis. No man cleans up behind himself on a regular basis and does his own laundry on a regular basis to the magnitude that he got everything that he needs on a regular basis. They pay other people to do it. They pay a housekeeper. Um, they pay for chefs and everything outside of the house and all of this other stuff. Then they um, pay the dry cleaners and everything, and all of the stuff that they need. They pay for. Now, when a woman steps into the life and then she starts doing those things, instead of him paying for a housekeeper to clean a house, his girlfriend's cleaning the house. Instead of him paying for somebody to feed him outside of the house, his girlfriend's cooking for him. Instead of him paying a dry cleaner to keep his clothes right, his girlfriend's cleaning his clothes. Now, that money that would have gone to them goes to her, and that's her upkeep, which allows her to pay for her hair, her nails, and all this other shit. So when women come and uh yes, they do. And when women come up and they complain about that dynamic, like that's oppressive, that misogynistic men want this, that, and the third. No, men are telling you this is the gap in my life, right? This hole in my tire, okay? And when you come, that task is never complete. So if you want to help and you're not going to ask what I need, you're not going to ask what I want, you're not going to ask how can you help. If you just look around and see the shit that's not done, guess what the hell you're going to start doing? The shit that's not done. The dishes in the sink next to the dishwasher, the clothes in the laundry basket next to the washing machine, the clothes that came out the dryer in a big pile in a room somewhere instead of them being hung up and ironed and de-wrinkled. And you're going to notice, well, shit, guess what I fell into doing by default? Cooking, cleaning, doing laundry, ironing clothes, taking care of the kid, because that's the gap that the men have in their lives. But if women asked men what they needed, men wouldn't have to tell them what to do. So since women don't ask, that's why women have to be obedient. When a man comes up and tells you something, you need to do that first and then ask why after you've done it. If a man tell you to sit down and shut up, you got to sit down and shut up, because your talking might make the situation worse. If there's a conversation happening and a man give you the keys to the car and say, "Babe, pull the car around," you're not supposed to disrespect him in front of that conversation. Whatever he's got to say right now, he doesn't want you to be there for the fallout of what he's about to say. So by protecting you and sending you to the car, if what he's about to say next is going to turn into a fight, you don't get caught up in the fight, because he can't pay attention to the person he's about to fight while trying to be a shield for you. He can't offense and defense at the same time. See what I'm saying? So when a man makes an excuse, go make us a cup of coffee because we're having a conversation in the living room. We ask you to go make us a cup of coffee. We're asking you to leave the room respectfully. And women will have a problem with that. And that is a twist of fate, because there's no nice way for a man to say, "I need you to get out of here so that I can fuck this dude up." There's no nice way to say that. But when a man says, "Hun, go make us some coffee," or he'll give you a hard task, "Go make us some tea." That way, you're going to leave the room. You're going to be gone for a while. "Go make us some tea" could be an in-house code for "go get the Glock switch." You know what I mean? But if you don't have a woman that's willing to follow instructions, you're not going to be able to prepare for a bad situation. And that's going to be one of the reasons why a lot of men are not going to be wanting to talk to these women these days, because the women want to operate on autopilot and think that the situation is going to tune to her dynamic, but he has to deal with the chaos. How does he deal with the chaos when he don't even got nobody that got his back? She don't even know what the playbook is because she won't read it. How is she going to be able to catch the ball when the ball go in the air? She don't even know the ball being thrown at her. She running for the touchdown, thinking that she's gonna be a blocker and she's a fucking receiver. She's not paying attention. You know, so that means we got to tell her, catch the ball. See what I'm saying? But that's going to be why we need obedient women. We're going to find that in a culture where women are family oriented. We're going to find that in a culture where women are going to say, respect your man, listen to your man, help your man, and he will take care of you and probably your family. That you get everything you need and a lot of the things that you want if you do what he say. That's a trade off. He said, go back. So Michael said, you come to my place, leave your misery at the gate. Nah, fuck all that shit. You leave your misery at your damn house. I want you to make sure that the 50 to 75 miles that it takes you to get to my house, that your misery is on the side of the road somewhere before you get to where I'm at. I don't want your misery to accidentally fall into my window if my window's sitting open at the time. Can you pound a nail? Plant garden. She don't need to do more than plant a garden. So, Claudia, you said, do I think 50-year-old men want kids? Now, I'm gonna touch base on this comment real quick, Claudia. We had never started today's topic. I just want y'all to know that. So, during the slave period, there was a man that lived to be 130 years old. He had 230 children. While he was a slave, the majority of the children were made while he was a slave. And after he stopped being a slave, he had nine more children outside of slavery. So that man was still having children 50, 60, 70 years old. He lived to be 130 years old. Now, understandably, in order for a man to have 230 children, he's probably going to have between 20 and 40 wives, or 20 or 40 baby mamas, because most women are going to have between one and five kids per person. So, do the math. If you assume three at 230, if you assume three kids per woman at 230, you know what I mean? You're looking at a shit ton of kids. Now, in modern society, 50-year-old men, 50-year-old men, 55, 60-year-old men are just now getting to financial stability. 60% of men still want to be parents. If they're not already parents and they want to do it again after they've gotten out of a bad breakup or a bad divorce where child custody cases lasted the entire childhood of the child. So they never got a chance to be a parent the first time they had a kid. So the second time they have a kid, they're going to want to be a parent to the second kid, right? So you're going to have men 40, 50, 60 years old that still want to be a parent. Now, because the man is 50 and the woman is 28, the man can still have a child. The man can have at least one, if not three kids. The man is 55, 60 years old. Now, when we start getting closer to 70 years old, they're probably not going to really want to deal with children no more, right? But 40, 45, 50, 55 years old, yeah, you're likely to see a man that still wants to do children. He says some of my friends are girls and they drive big toys like tractors, etc. But Michael, you 71 years old. Some of your friends is on Section 8. They got the VA bill backing them up. You got the women from back in the day when they used to build cars. And wait, look, you're 71. So you come from the generation of women that was building airplanes for World War I. You come from a generation of women that was building cars and everything to that effect. So in modern times, where women won't even build a cup of coffee for a man, you got women back in the day that used to build the entire industrial civilization of the United States of America while the men were off at war. So there was a whole different class of women back in them days, 60 years ago, Michael. So he said, a good woman seems to me, or my experience is they seem to do more for you than average And sometimes I have to let her know I don't need more. Exactly. Exactly. That right there at the bottom of my screen for the long form, and that right there at the top of the screen for those of you watching this on a shorts reel. That's what we're looking for with the high, which also means that if I was loading up all my shit in the car and the chick that was walking past us by the grocery store was a high value woman, she might have would have came over and complimented the fact that I was doing all of the extra work that I was doing, getting all the car lined up, putting the dog in the seat belt and shit. Which means that if we would have had a child, I would have been the one putting the groceries in the car. She would have been walking the shopping cart to the thing. I'd have been putting the baby in the baby seat. That's what you see the characteristics there, right? And she'd be, oh, well, let me get to know you better. You seem to got your shit in order, right? That's why your show is called this and that. Because we talk about everything under the sun. Because we never got to today's topic, but we still go get there. I got 60 pages of shit to talk about. I mean, what's the average then gets alive? They get to live. So today, today, the average American is living to be between 84 and 92. So right now, the average man is getting to be 84 to 92. Look at, okay, Joe Biden was like 85 or 86 like 4 years ago, right? Donald Trump is like 85 or 86 right now, okay? And these are the leaders of our country, okay? You only have to be 35 years old to be president, but most of our presidents start at the age of 65 or 70 years old, okay? I think Obama might have been the youngest one that I can think of. I could be wrong. There could be a younger president that started as an elected president, not one that just inherited it from another president. So at 80 years old, 50% of your age plus seven is 47 years old. Okay, you could die tomorrow. Years old, 47 would be a good number for you. But think about this though 18-year-old girls are dating men that are 60 years older than her. So she's 18 and he's 68. Okay. She's 18 and or she's 18, he's 78. She's 18 and he's 42, he's 45. You know, 20 years old, 22, 24 years old is dating 70-year olds. You know what I mean? And they're still having babies for these men because men can still reproduce at 70 years old. Men can still plant seeds. Women don't have ovary to produce children. Not all women do after 40 years old, after that menopause era, right? So a man at 50, 60 years old could still just say, well, I guess I'll just look for 50-year-olds who doesn't want kids. You can look for a 60-year-old man. He probably gonna be tired of them damn children at 60 years old. You because at your current age, because once you reach 40, the man you're looking for anyway, once you reach 40, is probably going to be 60 or 65 anyway. And at 60 or 65 years old, I'm probably not even going to want to deal with children no more. No way. But the other thing is that what men are going to be turned off on with children at 60 and 65 years old is not the legacy. It's the diaper phase. It's the crying baby phase. That's it. So at 50, 55, 60 years old, an 8-year-old son, perfect. I can teach him everything I need to teach him, but I don't got to change his damn diaper. See how that works? That's when a single mom can actually become valuable. A man that's 71 years old can go to the Philippines and get a woman with 3 kids because them kids will respect him and follow his instructions, and the woman will help him and balance his budget, and he can teach them children everything that he didn't get a chance to teach his own children, and then those kids would inherit his legacy. Women with children can still be valuable, but you're going to be valuable to a different kind of man. You're going to be valuable to the kind of man that's not looking for diapers. When you skip over the diaper phase, the youngest child is 6 years old. So a woman with a 6 year old or a woman with a 10-year old that's willing to cooperate with the new man in the life, that automatic family, that's a perfect fit for 65, 70 years old, right? For a 65, 70-year old that wants to build a legacy, that still wants to build that legacy. So you being the kind of woman that wants to work with the man that wants to build a legacy and also has children outside of the diaper phase, Instead of going for 50, go for 60. He's going to be more financially stable anyway. 60 years old, his money been straight for 20 years. You know what I mean? Because men are still children at 26, 30 years old. They start getting their shit together between 30 and 40. They got a plan between 40 and 45. They're working on that plan for 20 years. So 60, 65 years old, their money is right. So at your current age, you're looking for a 60-year-old man. That's what you're looking for. And you don't have to raise the bar the older you get. You can keep looking for a 60-year-old man for another 5 years, and you might reach that age where y'all will be a perfect match. You'll be 41, he'll be 62, and you'll be perfect. Now, after an hour and a half, let's dive into today's show because there are going to be two job markets in the world. Now, there's only one that you see and the one that you don't. The one you see is brightly lit digital coliseums like LinkedIn, Indeed, or ZipRecruiter, where you polish your resume until it shines. You write a cover letter that feels like you're screaming into a void and compete with hundreds, sometimes thousands of other applicants from all over the world for one single role. It's going to be a game of keywords and algorithms, a sheer soul crushing volume of competition. And most of us have been told that this is the only game that can be played, and that is meritocracy. It is just a digital application away from, being successful. That's a lie. Hold on. He said, funny you say that. I have watched from Boeing Company for 25 years of continued service to what is that? Franchise Hogs dated 1920 Hamilton Watch Company. Okay. So from a Boeing company 25 years of continued service to Francis Hobbs, dated 1920, Hamilton Watch Company. You when I give you this information, you're like, he ain't wrong. An old crusty dusty dude. That's kind of wild, Xander. Well, okay. From a male's perspective, you're gonna look at a dude that's old, crusty, and dusty. You get that at eight because you're like 25, 30 years old right now. You're not gonna be thinking about that. You can't imagine 60 at 25 years old. You're gonna imagine them all crusty and dusty. When you're 60 years old and your shit don't stink because your money is right, all your cars are bought and paid for. You got more than two. Your house is bought and paid for. You might have three. You might have one or two businesses under your belt. You successful. You made it. You're not gonna look at yourself as crusty and dusty. You're gonna look at yourself as I finally made it. Right? You ain't gotta work. The hardest part of your day is your personal assistant calling you, telling you what the numbers look like. When you're looking for a partner, you're gonna be looking for a partner that's not gonna fuck your money up. You don't want to be Shannon Sharp losing out. Yes, ma'am. I'm gonna see you tomorrow. Cause we get started. We're gonna have like another hour and a half of today's show. Because today's show was about fixing people's social network, and we actually started talking about a whole different rant because of the two people that I had dealt with at the Walmart today. So I spent an hour and a half talking about exactly reasons why we need a better social network and exactly reason why men are not really paying attention to the type of behavior patterns that women produce in modern society. So I kind of took the show to a whole left turn, and now I'm gonna turn it back, hopefully. But definitely, I'll see you tomorrow, Claudia. So, Steven, you're not gonna see yourself as crusty and dusty. You're gonna see yourself as you made it. You're gonna see yourself as successful, and you don't want to be that Shannon Sharp because he got the girl, he married the girl, and even though he was married to the girl, whenever, no matter how much money Shannon Sharp had, she was not satisfied and they got a divorce. And then after they got a divorce, she sued him for millions of dollars. And the accusation she made as a bitter ex-wife caused him his career on the NFL network. He had to withdraw for the sake of his integrity from a multi-million dollar contract because of the type of woman that he was dating. So not only did she get extra money out the divorce, she ruined his future in the process. And that has been the mentality of a lot of women when they walk away from a man. They do not build the man up on average. Good women, good wives get with a man, they become successful together. The man died, the woman inherits his estate. Some average women get with a man, they don't hurt the situation, but they don't help the situation. They stay with the man dies, she gains his success. She gains his success. The bad women come in, enjoy life until they want more, and then when they can't get more, they bail out. But when they bail out, while they did not build his success, they want to take half of what he's got. And then because she's withdrawing from the game, she wants to make sure that nobody else can benefit. It's almost like when women mine a gold as a gold miner. When she got all the gold that she can carry out of this mine, she want to blow up the mine so don't know other woman go and get nothing out of the mine. And that's how women treat men in modern society. So when Shannon Sharp got the woman, when he first got with her, he thought he had something. Then when a relationship ended, he realized what he ended up with. And that she's taking half of everything he got, then the massive multi-million dollar lawsuit, then the career ending accusations. His future is fucked up. He's gonna have to bounce back from that. And then because it happened in modern society on social media and everything to that effect, now just like Chris Brown can beat up 20 girls and still go date another woman, Shannon Sharp, the accusations that went against Shannon Sharp, he would have a harder time getting into a marriage with another girl than what Chris Brown would beating on women because women are used to getting beat on. I don't understand why. The women that date Chris Brown, they're like, shit, he didn't beat the shit out of 19 girls. The 20th girl, she already knew that was coming. She signed up for that. She signed up for that. And these women wasn't just getting a slap in the face or a slap on the butt. These women were getting like football level injuries. We're talking about bones broken, like permanent injury kind of things. And they would leave him, and then another woman would come and step in. And I'm like, what is it about this dude? What is it? And it's not just the looks, because Flavor Flav is ugly as fuck, but he ain't beating on no women. You seen that the all them series is Flavor of Love, 25 different women on stage with him. Eh, all the game he got going on, but he ain't had to throw nobody down no flight of stairs. But you gotta understand that what some mentalities do for money. So when a man is 60 years old and he got his shit together, he didn't go on from being broke to being either middle class or upper middle class. He went from 35, $40,000 a year to $120,000 a year, and he doing it on a $40,000 a year expense level where he got more money than what he needs. At 60 years old, bro, he's not gonna be perceiving himself as old, crusty, and dusty. So when you get there, you know what I mean? When you get there, you're gonna be standing tall, and you're gonna be wanting a woman that's gonna back your play. You're gonna be wanting a woman that's not gonna fuck up your money. You're gonna be wanting a woman that's not gonna take half your shit and run off and then try to fuck up the other half of your shit so that you don't got nothing, right? And as a result, now at 20, 25, 30 years old, you need to be paying attention to the mentality of the women that you're talking to. Instead of looking at her for the attractiveness that she brings to the conversation, you need to be looking at her for her mentality. You need to look at the goals and ambitions of the woman that you're talking to. Because if she's got the goals and ambitions, the drive that Claudia brings to the conversation, if she's got that, you can accept certain things like her age, her inability to reproduce children, the quantity of children she brings to the table. You can factor those things in and still be able to accept the rest of the value that she brings to the table because she'll still build with you and grow. You know what I mean? A woman don't X herself out just because she got a high body count. It's the trauma that she brings with the high body count. The low value she has in men is what the reason why men don't like the high body count. There's a lot of reasons why a man doesn't like a high body count. But the fact that the mentality of a woman with a high body count is different from the mentality of a woman with a low body count. The value of a man is higher when she has not been run through by a lot of men. So she will value her husband more with a lower body count than what she would if she had a higher body count. Because if you'd have been ran through by 1,000 dudes, you know, in the front of your mind and the back of your mind, and there's like 10 guys waiting for this. So the dude you're talking to right now, he don't act right, you'll just replace him. But a woman that's only had one dude or three dudes, she don't know the value. So when she gets a dude, she's gonna treat him like gold. She's gonna treat him highly valued. So the success of the relationship isn't just founded on trust. It's going to be founded on how much he values her and how much she values him. If he values her and she doesn't value him, that one sidedness is going to build resentment because he's going to do extra to show her how much she is valued by him. And she might not even do enough to help him cover the spread of responsibility, not even financial investment. And that is going to be the struggle that is going to lead to arguments in a relationship. And when you are the financially successful one, you've been doing this 3/4 of your life. At 60 years old, you're looking at another 25 years of your life left, 25, 30 years of your life left. And out of the remaining 30 years, you're going to want to share your life with a woman that is not going to fuck up your future. You're going to be thinking about this different. Michael said, the most expensive property in the world is between a woman's legs. Yes, that's true. And you pay for it before marriage, during marriage, and definitely afterwards. That is definitely true. That is definitely true. Now, the second job that we were supposed to be talking about in today's show, because we were supposed to be talking about a lot of stuff, right? This job is hidden inside of the world. It has no website, no application portal. It operates in the quiet confidence of a phone call, in a casual chat over a beer, in the trust between two people who've known each other for years. It's a world of off market deals and jobs that are created for people, not just posted for them. It's a world of quiet leverage, warm intros, and opportunities passed between trusted hands long before the public ever knows that they exist. This is the hidden economy. And the key to unlock it is already in your life. It is controlled by your friends and your peers and your community. So this isn't about some secret society like the Illuminati or somebody or an old boys club conspiracy. It is about understanding the fundamental unspoken rules of how value, trust, and opportunity actually flow between people. And that's part of what we've been talking about the last couple of hours of the show. You see your friends landing jobs and finding investment deals that never seem to get advertised after application. But the real opportunities, the game changing ones, are being passed around in private group chats and over casual drinks. So forget what you've been told about applying online. The most lucrative career moves happen in a hidden economy that your most successful friends already control. Take, for example, like I told you guys at the beginning of the show about a buddy of mine that's on some hard times. He could use some extra money. And I'm like, bro, let's make this play so that you can make a few hundred extra dollars a month that could subsidize your standard of living. And he argued with me when I'm providing him the financial opportunity. That's the kind of shit that make you say, you know what, fuck it, I'm not gonna do it. You know, he said skull and bones. So the dynamic is like if I'm the more financially successful friend, and then I have a financial opportunity, then I call my buddy up and I tell my buddy about the financial opportunity, and then he's going to get in on the financial opportunity. Whatever profit he gets out of that deal is going to be because he was connected to somebody in his network that was more successful than he was, right? If the roles were reversed, if I've got buddies, if I've got individuals that are financially successful, they know that there's a deal coming up, right? We're sitting down, we're having a conversation. They talk to me about the deal. You know, if I got a little bit of money set aside and they tell me about the deal, and then I want to ante up onto the deal. We just had this conversation last week about just following the whim of somebody else and not doing your research, and how that could cost you financial strain. But if they're talking to you about this deal, you do a little bit of digging, you find enough information to give you the financial confidence to get in on this deal. You get on the deal, you get paid off for the deal. That deal was not on TikTok. That deal was not on YouTube Shorts Reel. That deal was not on TikTok's live feed. That deal was something that was happening off of social media. And because you knew somebody that was involved in that deal and y'all was having a conversation one day, you found out about the deal and now you can get involved in the deal. Okay. That's what we're talking about right here. So I know because you used to be on the outside looking in, uh, that when you go from sending hundreds of cold applications with no feeling like another number in the corporate machine, and then you get into off market offers by tapping into the very system that we're talking about today. The difference wasn't going to be the resume that you submit, it is going to be completely different strategies. The strategy based not on what you know, but who you know. Because I tell you this all the time. When we were talking about college, when I can't remember his name, the gentleman that came on asking about the nursing thing, and he was asking about the value of college. It's not about what you learned out of college; it's about who you connected with while you were in college. So, and more importantly, how deeply these individuals trust you by the time the opportunities arrive. So when you, as a successful man, are having business soirees, or you're going to cocktail parties with rich people, famous people, expensive people, financially successful people, you are not going there for the drinks. You're not going there for the dancing. And there's not as much dancing as you might think, because when you go to these cocktail parties, they don't have a DJ there mixing it up with a big ass dance floor and people moonwalking and spinning around on the floor and shit. You see a lot of people in suits and evening gowns standing near tables or sitting in chairs, and they're just talking. Okay, they're not club hopping, right? Notice every club you've ever gone to, you could not spot a multimillionaire in there outside of a rapper or somebody, football player, or somebody that went to the nightclub. Most financially savvy individuals are not seen in a nightclub unless it's an exclusive one that has a huge price tag for entry. Exactly. Networking. And this is one of the things we cover on the show. We cover networking. So because we want to make sure that you understand what we're missing and why we haven't made it to that six figure, seven figure position. So in tonight's show, halfway through, we're going to move forward with showing you the unwritten rules of how it works and how you can get in. So we're going to break down the five unspoken rules of the hidden economy that I actually told y'all about a couple weeks ago, or last week, or earlier this week, uh, to make yourself successful. We were talking about this, yeah, last week, sometime last week. So we're going to be talking about the five rules of hidden economy. So by the end of tonight's show, you will have a playbook to stop competing in the digital Hunger Games and start operating in a world of quiet influence and earning more opportunities. He said, dress homeless. Okay, I'm going to tell you right now, if you dress homeless, you're not going to go nowhere. You're not even going to be able to get into a restaurant and get something to eat. However, you can dress normal. You don't need flashy, expensive outfits. You don't, I've been wearing a suit every day on a podcast since March of 24, just to prove that you can always dress with a level of class without having to go and buy all kinds of name brand clothes. A lot of my clothes I had bought back when I was in college in 2012 and 2013. So in 2026, I would have had these clothes for 13 years now, and they still look sharp. Okay. It's not about going to the mall every day and buying the latest Louis Vuitton or the latest whatever they got going on with the name brands these days that the kids is going to wear, the Jordans and the sneakers with the jeans hanging off their behinds and the you know what I mean? It's none of that. Actually, when it comes down to networking and dress codes, when you're trying to be a man of success, you're not going to dress homeless. What you're going to do when you're trying to network, you're going to have a business casual attire. And I'm probably going to have to cover a whole nother show about this as well, now that I think about it, re-talking about that business casual attire look that people need to start paying attention to. It's way cheaper than name brand clothes because a few dozen button down shirts, a few dozen neutral colors, a couple blazers. You can buy whole suits and then mix and match uh, uh, the colors and really expand your wardrobe with less money. And you have the blazers for when it's cold. You have the vest when it's not cold. You can do the button down. You can have a regular plain color t-shirt up underneath it. So when you do have to unbutton your shirt, you don't have like any kind of print shirt underneath it that advertises something that you're not representing at that time. Because I know that we've got like shirts that we got from a lawyer from a car crash or a name brand, not a name brand shirt, but like a pattern shirt or something like that we had from when we were kids. Because as men, we don't throw anything away. As long as it still fits, we still put it on. But a worn out Batman shirt that we use as an undershirt, probably not a good idea because when you unbutton your blazer, now you're looking at this 1986 Batman shirt that literally came out in 1986 and you're still wearing it in 2026 and half of the print is missing. And you know what I mean? That's not what you're looking for. But regardless of what I'm trying to say is um, dressing for success. You're dressing with a level of class. And yeah, ironing your clothes probably would help you out a little bit. But the goal is less money for your attire. So you're not trying to dress homeless. You're trying to dress normal. You're trying to dress like you're worth something, but you're not trying to show how much you're worth. Does that make sense? So regular t-shirt, regular blazer, because you can do a polo shirt and some khaki pants, and that's fine. That works in most places. And then a level above that, the business dress, you're gonna have the button down shirt with or without a tie, maybe a blazer, maybe a vest. If you're bringing the blazer with you, even if you're not going to wear it, if you're out there looking for a partner, bringing that blazer with you, you could use that blazer when she gets cold because usually women are wearing an evening gown of some sort that's got her arms exposed and sometimes her back exposed. And when you cover that up, that allows them to get that sense of warmth. Sorry, I forgot I graduated. Yeah, that's the point. That's the point. Once we get up there, that's when we start carrying ourselves with a level of class. Now, one of the other things is just like what happened with me at the Walmart because I was like this is what I looked like when I went to the store. You know what I mean? Outside of the fact that I was covered in with enough ammunition to get into a combat situation with SWAT. The fact is that I was still button down shirt, blazer, uh, regular pair of dress pants, dark colored shoes, nothing name brand, nothing that you could spot and be like, ooh, that's from Jordan, Nike, Reebok. No, it's just some dark colored shoes, dark colored socks, you know, off, you know what I mean? So the fact is that if she would have been interested in one of those like the hood mentality look with the baggy pants and the name brand modern styles, she would not be attracted to me at all, which is fine because that we told you before that when you're building your level of success, the way you carry yourself, you're going to with your outfit detour certain people from your position and then attract other people to your position. The when you carry yourself with a level of class, you're going to deter hood rats and you're going to attract higher value women. So while the chick that I was looking at might have been attractive, if she had hood rat mentality, she would not be attracted to my dress casual attire. She would have been more attracted to the Lone Star rapper attire, and I'm fine with that. He said, "Please do a show on dressing better. I do want to start dressing better. My current dress code is Air Ones, Everyday Dickies, and a T-shirt. I do want to do better. Okay, I have a show for that already up there, but I will do it again. I give you my word. I'm gonna put that show. I can't say I'm gonna do it tomorrow. I've already got this week up there, so I'm gonna try to throw it up there for like next Saturday show or something like that because I don't think I filled in next Saturday's schedule yet. But if I did, you'll see it up on the show for the week after. I'm just going to put it up because Thursday, Friday, and Saturday are for stuff like this. So Monday, Tuesday, and Wednesday is not set for next week or the week after. But if I've already filled Thursday, Friday, and Saturday of next week, I'm starting to work on Thursday, Friday, and Saturday of the week after for self improvement stuff. So I am going to do the dress code thing, and we're going to be talking about that. But I did cover some of this stuff before. I do need to do a shorts video on how to tie ties. So I might start trying to take some extra time off and do a couple of shorts videos on how to tie ties. But because I got a lot of extra days off this month, so I'm gonna be trying to help you guys with some extra stuff. But yes, the one of the things is like for example, your dress code, your Air Ones, your Dickies, and a T-shirt. The chick that walked past me at the Walmart might have liked your style, and she might have would have slowed down a little bit just so that you could walk over there and talk to her. And if you've seen what I seen and you got the same taste that I got, you probably would have at your age went over there and tried to talk to her and get her number. But if you would have went over there to get her number, she gave off the vibe that you would have had to impress her with your wallet in order to take her out on a date at your expense, in order to find out what kind of personality she had while she's enjoying your money. I'm not going to say that she's wrong for that, but what I'm saying is that she's going to be paying attention to your wallet. You're going to be attracted to her physique. You're not paying attention to her character. She's not paying attention to your character. If y'all turned into a long term relationship, you would be dating her for the sex. She'd be dating you for the money. And y'all are okay with each other's behavior outside of that. But once the sex stops coming or the money stops being spent, resentment will happen in that relationship. It's no longer convenient and y'all will fall apart. Within 2 years, it would happen. 1 year, 5 months, 6 days. So changing the way you dress, change the way you carry yourself, and it's actually cheaper than what you think. You would find yourself while you might still be attracted to the hood rats, you might still be attracted to gold diggers, you might still be attracted to the thoughts out there. They're not going to be attracted to you because you're no longer going to be wearing the Dickies with the Air Ones and stuff like that. You're going to be semi casual, button down shirt, jeans, and like penny loafers, or if you want to get some Doc Martens or something like that, they're not going to be attracted to that kind of man. They're going to be attracted to what you're wearing right now. So while you're getting girls right now, you're going to be getting less girls with the attire that you're going to have because the girls that you're attracted to are only interested in fun, and that fun is at your expense. So you're going to find that you're going to have an influx. You're going to get more compliments from older, more mature women. You're going to get less attention from the younger, fast girls, but you're going to be spending less money on entertainment of somebody else, and you're going to find more quality conversations in the women that you do talk to. So, and that's one of the things that you'll notice. Even the women that continue to come back to the show, Claudia, Nicole, Cardinal Rules, or women with high value. Cardinal Rules, she said she was like 69 years old. You know, Nicole looks like she's like 35 or 36. Claudia, 37, 38. You know, these are going to be middle-aged women that have a better mentality than the average chicks that we see at the club. The average chicks that you already know that you're looking at a low-class woman when you do one thing. And I love the fact that these guys did this back in the day because you can do one thing and you can tell what kind of woman you're looking at. You know that you are looking at a low class woman if you put Cash Money Records on there, play that song, back that ass up, turn it up, put a little bit of bass on it, and watch her start twerking. If she starts shaking her behind to that song, that is a hood rat off the chest. Off she starts shaking her behind to that song as she passed by your vehicle. You got your hood rat. You already know. So it don't matter how attractive she is. You know what kind of mentality she's got. Okay. Now, the other problem with that is that if you're looking at a woman with class and you put that music on, she gonna look at you, turn up her nose, and walk off. So it's a double-edged sword. However, these young chicks, you'll know what kind of chick you're getting into because if you put on that latest club song and you turn up the music, they're gonna start shaking it behind in the street. Any female that is gyrating their genitals in open public is not a woman of class. Plain and simple. And when you're trying to go from 20, 25, 30 years old to self-made man or partially self-made man because your success is going to be based on your network with me. You're going to find yourself at 60 years old with $1 million, $250,000 worth of assets that you built on your own work. You're not going to want your woman bending over in public, shaking her goods around for all the men passing by just because that's her jam, right? So when you change your outfit, when you change your attire, you're going to actually be less included in the low quality crowd, which you're going to feel uncomfortable with, but you will be more included in the high quality crowd. I just want you to know that before I air that show. Like Michael said, dress for success. Now, before we unlock the back door to becoming successful, let's get real about why the front door is going to be a trap. The public job market you see online isn't designed for you to win. It's designed for companies to filter. It is a system built for corporate efficiency, not for your specific discovery. So when a company posts a job online, they are immediately overwhelmed. So we've all heard that story, and the data backs them up. Many jobs have postings that now attract hundreds of applicants, creating brutal competition. So your resume, the one you spent hours perfecting, gets a measly 6 seconds of attention from a recruiter. And that's if if it even makes it past the applicant tracking system, which is the AI gatekeeper scanning for keywords. So think about the math on that. A success rate of just 1 to 2% for cold online applications is common. The other 98% of applicants never succeed. So you could be the perfect candidate, a true superstar. But if your resume doesn't have the exact phrasing the algorithm is looking for, you're invisible. You cease to exist. I remember sending out over 50 applications in a single weekend. And the response, crickets. It wasn't just demoralizing, it was a profound lesson. And I was playing a game back in the day with that was rigid and against me. And this was right when the internet first started being a thing. So you can imagine what it is 10 years later. The system back then was designed to say no. Now, whew, okay, here we go. So this gentleman says, tip your landlord. If not for them, you'd be homeless. I'm going to tell you right now, you need to tip yourself and put extra money in your bank account. You should be paying yourself 10% more than the rent so that you got extra money in your bank account when the rent go up 10%. We already know that on the average, every year, rent go up $100 or more. And if it don't go up $100 every year, it's going to go up $200 every other year, 150, something like that. So if you paying $1,000 a month on your rent, you want to put an extra $100 a month aside for your rent, and you want to keep doing that till your rent go up. When your rent go up, you got that extra money sitting in the bank to cover your rent, so that you don't have to feel the pain of the increase. On average, it's usually 4 to 6%. But if you put away 10%, so if you're paying $2,500 a month for your rent and you put away an extra $250 a month for your rent, when you do reach that level, when your rent increases and it go up an extra $200 on your $2,500 a month, you've got that extra money sitting in the bank to float you for another year or two on your rent. Don't tip your landlord. Put it in the bank. Because if you put 10, if there's a 4% or 5% increase on your rent, and you're putting away 10%. What happens if you get furloughed on the government shutdown tomorrow? If you would have been putting that money away for 10 months, you got 1 month's worth of rent already in the bag. You could give your landlord next month's rent and not have to worry about not having a job for the rest of February. If you would have been putting that money away for the last 2 years, you would have had 2 months worth of rent. So you could have paid for October and November when you didn't have a job the first shutdown. So instead of tipping your landlord, because you would, even if you tip your landlord, if you don't pay the rent next month, your ass is still going to be homeless. He's still going to evict you because you didn't pay him what you owed him for the rent. You can overpay your rent on contract, but if you slide your landlord 50 extra dollars every now and again, your landlord is not going to give you no favoritism. You could fill his gas tank on a regular basis just to make sure that he don't go run out of gas. But the most he's going to do is give you an extension on the rent, but you still got to give him his money. If you don't give him his money, he's going to kick your ass out. You tip your landlord, he might waive the late fee. But that's an even transaction because your late fee is supposed to be $150. So if you tip them $150, you could just pay the damn late fee. Or you could put that $150 into the bank so that when you don't got the money for the rent, you can take the money out of the bank, out of your emergency fund, and put it on the rent. If you want to make sure that they don't short you, you can advance pay on the rent, buy an extra 10%. If you advance pay on the rent by an extra 10%, since you've already paid for so many months under contract, when they go to renew the rent, they have to renew the rent, recognizing that you already paid for X number of months under the old contract. Then, if they want to raise it, they got to raise it after you spent your money. They can't raise it before, or they got to give you a refund because you already contracted. Even if you don't sign a new renewal, you've already gave them enough money for several more months, which means that you're going to fall on a month to month. They're not going to refund you, so they're just going to let you stay. They're just not going to renew the contract. They're not going to accept any more money from you, but now you know how many months you got left to leave. So, about this networking situation, this isn't a fluke. It is a feature. It's an estimated option that up to 80% of all jobs are filled through networking, never hitting the public boards. So, while you're fighting for a 1% chance online, the best roles are being filled quietly. So, your friend can land a job as a senior director role at a major tech company that was never posted publicly. It can start with a chat at a mutual friend's barbecue. Your future boss mentions a problem. Your friend sketched out a solution on a napkin to solve that problem. That napkin turned into a coffee meeting. That coffee meeting can turn into a custom built role. Now, your homie didn't compete with anyone. The job was created for him. This is the hidden economy in action. The psychological cost of ignoring this is immense. The burnout, the self doubt, the feeling of being disposable. It is a direct result of playing in a system that treats you like a commodity. To escape this, you have to stop thinking like an applicant and start thinking like a partner. You need to operate in an economy based on a different currency, which brings us to rule number one. In the public market, your resume is your currency. So in a hidden economy, the currency is going to be trust. Trust is the ultimate risk reducer for anyone making a big decision, whether it's hiring a key employee or investing in a new venture or getting into a long term relationship. A resume is just a piece of paper. A personal recommendation from a deeply trusted friend, that's a verifiable human guarantee. Notice every job application has a list of referrals, list of references, people that know you that can vouch for you shows that you can be trusted. You don't have anybody that you could put on that list besides your friends and sometimes your homeboys. No, most people don't have a mentor, previous employers that will say anything positive about you, right? Speaks a lot. But this is going to be someone else that's going to put their own reputation on the line to back you up. In a criminal courtroom, they're called character witnesses. And that's going to be why a shallow network of 500 LinkedIn connections is going to be useless. A million followers, the 82,000 people following this channel, out of the 82,000 people that's following this channel, probably got like 10 people of value that actually benefit me specifically. The ones that we talk to in the chat. In the hidden economy, the principle is depth over size. Men with just a few close, supportive relationships report far less loneliness and greater success than men with many shallow connections. Trust isn't built overnight, it's forged through consistency, reciprocity, and a level of vulnerability that most men are taught to avoid. So, first, consistency and contact is what we're going to have to deal with. Trust is built in small, repeated interactions. Research on male friendship shows that seeing friends or family at least weekly is associated with significantly lower loneliness scores. That scheduled coffee, the pickup basketball game, the monthly poker night, these aren't just social events. They are the infrastructure of trust. Being the guy who shows up on time, who remembers a small detail and asks about it a week later. That's how you prove that you'll be reliable in the big things that happen later. So just like when we were talking earlier about how I tipped my homeboy off about how I could help him save $1,200 a year, I gave him the details almost 2 weeks ago. I tipped him off about taking action on it last week, where we were supposed to execute it this week. Then when I called him about it this week, he had heard about it 2 times before. And if we talk about how I talked to him about that 2 years ago, he would have heard about it 3 or 4 times over the past 2 years. And now we're supposed to be taking action on it. And he made it my responsibility to debrief him on how he could be successful. It's not my responsibility to debrief you to make you successful. It's your responsibility to find out what you got to do to be successful. It's my responsibility, if it is even my responsibility, to tip you off and let you know that there's a way that you can be more successful. Right? So, knowing that in the bigger scheme of things, when I start making bigger deals and making bigger moves, I'm less likely to call the person who doesn't have the responsibility to take action on a good deal. I'll either execute it myself or I'll find another individual that is more skilled than me in executing that. That's gonna cause a long-term old school friend of mine to not be involved in better financial opportunities. When you are gonna be the product of the 5 people you spend the most time with, you want to make sure that while you still have your long-term old school friends, that the 5 people you invest the most time in are people that are as successful than you or more successful than you, so that you can increase your level of success. You want to have 3 out of 5 people more successful than you, 2 people as successful than you. If you've got one person less successful than you out of 6, that's it. Because that person, you're one of many people that's more successful than them. In your network, you're going to have people that going to rely on you, but you need to have more people that you can rely on. but you still have to be valuable to your whole network. Okay. Because you can't leech off of the people that's better than you and then be leached off of by the people that are less successful than you, because that's a trickle down effect. You're going to be as worthless to the people that are better than you as the people that are bleeding you dry are worthless to you. You want to be beneficial to everybody in your network, and you want them to be some way, shape, or form beneficial to you. Now, second is going to be, and that's going to bring us to our next step, mutual support and reciprocity, because a strong network is a living ecosystem, not a one way street. Healthy networks involve both giving and receiving help, advice, and encouragement. You have to actively look for ways to provide value without expecting anything in return. You see an article that could help a friend, you send that article to the friend. You know someone who would be perfect clients for a colleague, you make the introduction so that these two people meet. You're showing your valuable members of a community who can contribute to everyone else's success in that community. If I'm the go to guy to get stuff done, you need to get something done and you don't know how to do it, you're going to come to me. Now, what does that make me? I'm the guy that knows where everything's happening. Now, if you want to know where to get involved in something, what's that going to cause you to do? Come to me. I just made myself the center of everybody's success. Now, that also allows me to get involved in any opportunities that I can benefit from as well. So, whether I get a referral fee, whether I get commission from a sale, whether I can invest in the investment opportunity as well, or whether I can leverage my knowledge of good resources to help close a deal in a completely different area. Because you might get the buyer or the seller to sign a contract because you helped them get tickets to the Knicks because you know the coach of the team. You know, it isn't always about the direct conversation of the deal. It's about how does the person signing on with you benefit from signing on with you. That's how that works, right? The third thing, and this is the toughest and most powerful, is vulnerability and psychological safety. So our culture teaches men that vulnerability is a weakness. So in building deep connections, that's going to be a lie. Good men's groups provide no judgmental spaces where it is acceptable to express vulnerability and talk about real problems. This isn't a bitch fest about how life sucks, but when you ask someone for their advice on a real problem that you're facing, you're implicitly telling them, I respect your judgment. Then when they tell you how to resolve your situation and you attempt that, then your benefit from their advice helps you, but now they can trust you with their advice. Mentorship. It's a powerful act that builds an immediate bond between two individuals. The guy who only ever projects perfection might be respected, but he isn't trusted. He's impenetrable, right? Now, on the other hand, though, when you're dealing with long-term friends, you find that your friends don't have as much respect for you due to the ability to maintain a low-grade friendship. So you can disrespect each other, curse each other out, and laugh it off. But from a professional standpoint, you start recognizing that that's not the type of behavior that you condone, and you're going to find yourself starting to distance yourself from those type of people. So even your best friend from way back when, if whenever they come and talk to you, they're dropping the N word and this, that, and the third, and they're talking down to you and talking down about themselves, and you start realizing when you're going to other people and they're talking up their friends, they're talking up themselves, they're always applying value to themselves and their network when they speak to each other. I know you've got it. I know you've got the potential. I know you've got, I can guarantee you that my homie will come through. I know that he's the best one for the job. When you hear those types of conversations in other people's networks and then you listen to your network, you're gonna kind of distance yourself from the negatives because that drives a wedge from the type of environment you want to be in and the type of environment you're actually in, right? Because you want to be in the more positive, forward moving environment. I can pinpoint the moment that one of my most valuable professional relationships turned a corner because we scheduled a 15-minute call and said, "Look, I know you're busy, but I really admire how you handle whatever it was, and I completely, I'm completely stuck in this particular situation. Could I get your brain on it?" Right now, this is going to be an immediate shift. The conversation went from professional to personal. You know, he became invested in my success. Your resume can't do that. In the hidden economy, your reputation for being trustworthy, consistent, and real is the only asset that matters, right? In any network, there are two types of players: nodes and conductors. A node is a single point, an individual. A conductor is different. A conductor is a hub. They actively build bridges between different people and groups. In a hidden economy, connectors hold a disproportionate amount of power. Research shows that people who act as conductors are more likely to generate good ideas, get promoted, and receive higher compensation, which is why I tell Stephen all the time, you have to be an asset in your company, even if you don't like the job. Why? Because you can get a promotion, which gives you more raises. But the promotion can also give you the authority to delegate your job to other workers so you can do the parts of the job that you want to do and they can do the parts of the job you don't want to do. You can take on parts of their job that they don't want to do that you don't mind doing, and then they can take parts of your job that you don't want to do. And because y'all are working as a team under your authority, as long as the job gets done, you get the praise. But if you're the guy at the bottom, you got to do what you're told. So instead of being glad that you've got the cool supervisor that lets you listen to the podcast while you're on the clock, you could be the cool supervisor that allows everybody to listen to the podcast while they're on the clock. That's the difference. And you would be getting paid more. And you would be the supervisor that's passing by everybody else, like, oh, you're listening to this and that too. So am I. You know what I mean? And you would just be passing by. You're not even doing all the heavy lifting. So how do you evolve from a node to a conductor? Well, first think in triangles. Most people think in straight lines. What can person A do for me is what most people think. A conductor meets person A, and while talking to person B, their brain is asking, how could person A and person B benefit from knowing each other? That's a big difference. Okay. So then they make the introduction. In that single 30-second action, you provided immense value to two people and solidified your position as a central, valuable hub. You become an architect of opportunity. Second, consciously diversify your network. And many of us fall into a trap of only knowing people of just like us mentality in the same industry, same hobbies. If you work in restaurant, all your friends work in restaurants. You know, if you work in construction, all your friends work in construction. You work in landscaping, all your friends work in landscaping. For the ladies, if y'all are exotic dancers, all of your friends are exotic dancers. This creates a redundant echo chamber. A connector actively seeks relationships across different worlds: finance, the arts, tech, trades, academia. So when your network is diverse, you become a powerful broker of unique information and connections. So, like the chick that was at the Walmart earlier today, just because she didn't know me, she could have tried to get to know me because I'm different. And then this isn't about looking for a man. This is about looking for an asset in your network. She might have would have found out by exchanging social media that I got a live podcast that teaches about investing and everything to that effect. So while we may have never gone more than just social media contacts, she actually would have found an asset that would help her build wealth instead of just thinking, "Oh, he's going to try to talk to me to get in my pants." She could have thought, "Well, he's different. He might have something that I don't have. Let me get to know him and see what he's got." Now, that type of mentality is going to work on both sides of the fence, ladies. So a man can actually talk to a woman not because she's attractive, but because she might actually bring value to his network. Now it's not about whether or not you're a single woman. It's not about whether or not you're a mother with kids. Now it's not about whether or not you put out. Now it's about what can you do to bring value to my network. If you're an OnlyFans girl, you're not bringing anything valuable to the network. But if you're an OnlyFans girl that's investing in stocks and real estate and brokerage accounts, this I could probably connect you with somebody. Notice it ain't about what you do on the sidelines, but if you're willing to invest in a big major project that I know exists, I can connect you with the seller. You could turn you a profit. They can close the deal. I might even be involved in that deal. I could retain some type of commission for helping close the deal. But I'm an asset to the two of y'all. So it's not about me being a guest star on your OnlyFans show. It's about me connecting you with finance to somebody who needs finance. Now we're looking at each connection on the street as an opportunity, not as a chance to score, not as a chance to get laid, not as a chance to have a free night on the town. It is an opportunity to expand your network in a successful fashion. Third, host, don't just attend. And when I mean host, I mean you need to be the one to set up these connections, set up these events, not just attend events. Attending an event is passive. Hosting, even a small dinner, a poker night, a weekend barbecue, puts you in the driver's seat. You have the social license to intentionally bring interesting people together. You become the gravitational center around which parts of your network will revolve around you. You become a connector. And this is the single fastest way to increase your value. And it provides a powerful advantage. Crisis optionality. When you're a node in a single industry and that industry takes a downturn, your world collapses. If you're working in the federal government and all your friends are feds, everybody's fucked. But when you're a connector with a diverse network, a crisis is in one area, and that is just an opportunity to pivot. Because anybody who's working for themselves is showing you how to make money on the side, and you should be able to get involved with that before you got furloughed. And now you're able to make more money off of that while you're furloughed so that you can go back to your primary job and not miss a beat on your finances. If you get laid off from your tech job, if you get sent home from your federal job, your friend in sustainable energy might know about an opportunity or a role, even if it's a temporary part-time role that could hold you over until your regular money come back. A wide variety in your network gives you more exit routes if you need to leave a job or relocate fast or navigate trouble without going broke on retail prices uh, uh, that help you become more successful. And you'll become anti fragile as a result. All right, now we're halfway through. Well, shit, we're three-quarters of the way through because we've been on the show for 2.5 hours, so we're no longer halfway through. When I wrote the script, I thought we would have been like 45 minutes into the show, but we're 2.5 hours into the show right now. So if you're tired of playing the game on hard mode by blasting out resumes, then make sure that you do me a favor and hit that subscription button if you haven't done so already. Like tonight's show if you haven't done so already. And then hit that notification button if you haven't done so already, because we are building a community of men who want to operate on a different level. We're making high value men from the ground up. Okay. And this is going to be about building real, tangible value in our careers, in our lives, in our personal lives. Okay. Now, we're going to get into the rules that separates the amateurs from the pros so that you guys can figure out how to operate on pro status. The biggest myth about networking is that it's all about networking up. The real power comes from building powerful bonds with your peers. Remember, I told you three people better, two people on your level, one person below you. That's six, right? Value in the hidden economy is most effectively delivered sideways, the two people on your level. The people at your level right now are the future leaders of the country. So if you're 25, 30 years old, having a bunch of 60-year-old guys on your network, yeah, that's good to get you up there. But the guys that are 25, 30 years old or in 30 years are going to be running the country. You know, I'm 40, 30 years, I could be running for president, right? However, you're 25. In 30 years, you'll be 55 and you'll be knowing the next big names of all of the most profitable Fortune 500 companies around the country if you're maintaining a good network. They're going to be the colonials who will become generals. So by investing in these relationships now, you're building a shared foundation of trust that will pay dividends for decades to come. So you've got that one buddy that kind of has a little bit of ambition, but they're stubborn, hard headed, and they don't follow instructions. But if you stick with them long enough, there is a strong possibility that he might actually become somebody. Stick with him. At the same time, you also know that if he's not amounting to anything, that you don't want to invest as much in him as some of the other people that's on your level that are actually striving to be something. You guys will rise together. So, how do you strategically build sideways? First, you want to leverage the power of shared interest and purpose. The strongest male bonds aren't formed at sterile networking events. They're forged in the fires of shared struggles or common goals. This is why communities built around sports, professional groups, or volunteer projects make connections feel natural and less forced because men bond while doing stuff instead of Q&A with one another. So you join that rec league team. You start a side project with a few talented friends. And in these environments, you're not networking, you're collaborating, right? But it's still going to build a network though. So don't just leave it on the court or in the office. Go beyond the activity. During or after shared activities, ask one real question like, how are things really going at work? Instead of just staying on small talk. Then create space just to talk. Invite a guy for coffee or walk where the main event is the conversation. If he shares something important, follow up later, text him. You mentioned things were rough last time. How's that now? That's exactly what happened with my buddy when he was talking to me about financial problems. Actually, last year in September and October when they had the flood and everything, and then um, we were talking about how his money was changing because he went from being an Uber driver to working in a tech company, and then he went from the tech company, and then he started doing the health insurance and side by side with the tech company and all of this other stuff. So then this year, when he was talking to me about the financial thing, I reached out to him and said, "Hey, I've been offering you this financial opportunity. Do you want it now that your money's tight?" Then when he said yes, then I said, "Well, let's set you up with it next week." Then he fell through on his own financial opportunity. So even today, which that first 45 minutes of the show that we were talking about that stuff, I was actually practicing what I'm preaching to y'all right now. I was practicing that before today's show. It didn't work out for the other guy, but it showed me I got to improve my network. But this is how trust compounds over time and turns an acquaintance into a true ally. Finally, your sideways networks will give you the ultimate negotiation edge. Because before I accepted my last big job offer, I ran the salary numbers by a friend in venture capital and the role description by a buddy at the direct competitor. So when I walked through the final negotiations, not as a hopeful applicant, but as an informed operator. And this is going to be quiet leverage that is tangible benefits of a strong peer network. So when I talk to you guys about certain brokerage accounts that y'all can start up and certain stock options that y'all can invest in, y'all can literally take the information that y'all write off of the screen when I put those stock options onto the screen, and y'all can go and do your research and verify that those stocks are operating at some of the stocks that I have listed a lot of the times are operating at like 20% right now, 18 to 20% right now. So if you're investing heavy, if you want to ride that quick benefit, and you put 100 grand on stocks that are giving you 20 grand back, and you're taking that 20 grand and you're investing it in safer stocks, and you tear it down to the ones that are giving you 10 or 5%, you got a portion of your stock that is volatile and generating massive revenue on a buy and hold scenario, and then you're taking the dividends and tapering it down to less volatile stocks where your 20 grand goes into 20 grand worth of something else, and the 20% of that is going to give you like 4 grand is going to go into something else, and then the 15% of that is going to give you like 150 or $300 is going into something else, but you just ultimately made almost 30 grand between a handful of stocks. Not too many people think about that. Right? But this is going to be about more than just a career, because the crisis of male loneliness is also real and it's very devastating. The percentage of men with at least six close friends, remember I told you three more successful than you, two on your level, and one less successful than you, that's six people. The average man with at least six close friends has fallen by half since 1990. A staggering 15% of men now say they have no close friends at all, a five-fold increase. Okay. So it went from 3% to 15% of men have no close friends at all. So every acquaintance or homie or friend that they have is superficial. It has gotten to the point in modern society that if we know of a person, we call them a friend before they have done anything that's friend worthy. Because they're not an enemy, they're instantaneously thrown into the friend zone. And that is not in your best interest or your network's best interest. They should remain an acquaintance until they have provided value to your network to be promoted to a friend. It's just like if you was playing one of those online games and you join a guild and then you're at level 1 when you join. But in order for you to get to like level 4 and become one of the generals of the guild, you got to show value. You got to invest effort into the guild. It's the same thing with a friendship. When you meet somebody, I know of this person, but they're not a friend of mine. I'm not going to vouch for them. I'm not going to put my reputation on the line for them, but I know who they are. That's an acquaintance. Now, when they've done something that I've benefited from, that's a friend. If we're only doing business together, that is a colleague. That is a business associate, still an acquaintance. We don't know each other outside of making money together, but that's it. But when you invest in my company, not only are you an investor in the company, but you're a friend of mine that has invested into my company, right? Bigger difference. Close friend of mine would have been a friend that has invested in me, that I have invested in them for a long period of time. A close, trusted friend of mine should be a friend that has invested in me and I've invested in them and I have given them secrets that I don't want other people to know, and they've given me secrets that they don't want people to know, right? That's going to be the difference. Is that going to run? I'll finish it later today. Have a good one. Peace out. Oh, yeah, I appreciate you coming through. Definitely make it take the time to get the rest of this. We only got about 20 pages left, so it's only going to be about another 20 or 30 more minutes on the show. So the last 25% of the show, you can always, and then dive back in. Use where you see your goodbye as a check mark and start from there and play it forward. Because I'm not taking none of these shows down. I'm going to leave them up there. This is going to be the largest archive in the YouTube database that, in my personal opinion, over the next 25 years, 25, 30 years, I'm not going to take down any of my shows. I'm going to make sure that all of the rest of the shows that I produce for the rest of my time on this channel, um, building the type of legacy that you guys can actually go into the archive like Wikipedia, type up something, and a plethora of videos will come out. Hopefully a lot of my videos will be triggered on a Google word search so that when you look for something, one of my videos is up there as a top 5 videos to watch to answer that question when you ask a question on Google. So, but most of the questions that are going to hit that is going to be when you're asking about how to improve yourself or improve your money or improve your status as a person. Now, high quality friendships and supportive relationships literally protect men from loneliness at every life stage. And make no mistake, this is a matter of life and death. Chronic loneliness and a lack of close friends are linked to worse mental and physical health, with an impact comparable to risks like obesity or smoking 15 cigarettes a day. So if you find yourself smoking 10 or 15 cigarettes a day, you're probably combating feelings of loneliness. Now, building your sideways network isn't just a career hack, it is one of the most important things that you can do for your health and your well being. In a weak transactional network, asking for something is going to feel awkward. You risk being seen as a taker. But in a strong, trusted based network, this dynamic is inverted. A well structured ask isn't a burden, it's an opportunity for the other person to help and strengthen the relationship. The key is that it's an art form, and most people are terrible at it. That's why when my homeboy came and told me that he was broke, and I told him a way that I could help him save a little bit of money, instead of him being responsible and diving on it, he was irresponsible and made it my responsibility to carry him to a financial benefit when he's the one that needs money. People are bad at it. The wrong way is lazy and entitled, which is what he tried me with. Hey, can you get me a job at your company? Hey, can you give me the opportunity without me having to do anything about it? The right way is specific, respectful, and makes it easy for the other person to say yes. First step you got to do is you got to be incredibly specific. Never ask for just a job. Ask for something small and defined. I'm trying to better understand the culture in the market department. You're trying to get some knowledge about marketing. Would you be open to a 15-minute call next week to share your perspectives? Being able to give me your insight. Step two, you want to do your homework first because you don't want to go to this conversation with no information, which is what my buddy failed to do. When I'm telling him about how I can help him out by adding him to the phone line, he should have been able to do his research and at least call the phone company and see how he could go about doing that so that he knew, well, the best way to do it, because yeah, we could do it over the phone, but they would end up having to mail him a SIM card. In order for him not to be without a phone for a reasonable period of time, he would have to go down to the store and pick up the SIM card same day, which means that the transaction would have to happen at the store in order for him not to have an interruption or a long term interruption. If he would have known that by doing his own research, then when I called, he could have been able to articulate, I know we got to go to the store, but I don't have the time because I got to go to my next job. Can we do this on another day when I have more free time? But with my buddy, he knows that I'm busy on Friday. He knows that I am free on Thursday. He is not valuing my time on Thursday. And then he's going to ask me, can we just do it tomorrow? No, no, we can do it next week on this exact same day because this is the day that I'm available. Now, if you're not going to do it during this day when I'm available, then it's not going to get done. It doesn't bother me if and when you do it because we could do it next month. Your current billing cycle, you're going to have to cover one way or another. But once you do it, you no longer will have a billing cycle. So I don't give a fuck if you wait until Christmas. But the faster you get it done, the quicker you stop having that financial expense. That's the difference. So after you do your homework, you've invested your own efforts into being successful. Instead of, can you get me a job or can you get something from me or could you just hand me some money? You try this. I saw your company posted a senior project manager role, and I've been researching the team and mapped my experience to their requirements. Would you be comfortable forwarding my resume to the hiring manager with a brief note? You've done 90% of the work, which is what I did for him, 90% of the work. You've made it easy for them to be the hero for you. I made it easy for him so that I could be the hero for him. And all he had to do was just be responsible, right? So flipping the script. If I needed something from somebody, I've done all of the work. All I need you to do is pass this message along, and you will be my saving grace. That's easy to do. Step three, always give them an easy out, an easy way for them not to do this, or an easy way for them not to still be burdened by this after they've done what they've done. This is a crucial psychological tactic. After you ask, always add the release value. No worries at all if the timing isn't right or if you're not comfortable. I completely understand. This signals that you value the relationship more than the transaction. Paradoxically, it makes them far more likely to say yes. Then step four, you want to pivot back to the relationship. After the ask, win or lose, immediately change the subject back to them. Anyways, enough about that. How have things really been since the reorganization? And my buddy did that part. After we finished talking about how he fucked up the situation, he switched the conversation back to seeing how I was doing for the week. And I completely switched it back to him. I said, nah, I just called to make sure that I could make sure that you was taken care of. So I was making sure that I was able to make sure that you were taken care of because I'm already in the middle of some stuff. So if you're too busy, I'm just gonna do what I had to do and go back to the house. And that was it. That was the end of the conversation. But this shows that your interest is in them and that is not conditional. Mastering the art of the ask transforms your network from a passive list of contacts into an active dynamic support system. Now, this final rule is the most profound. The network isn't just about getting a job or a deal, it is about building a foundation of identity and support that exists completely independently of your job title. This is going to be your psychological armor. And this is going to benefit you in a lot of ways because not only does this work with getting a good job, this also can work with finding a more positive relationship. Because let's say for example, I've got 5 or 6 dudes that know who I am. They know my type. They know that I'm rocking single. They know enough about me to be able to promote me to a female that they believe would be a good fit for me. After they've talked to her enough, they would be able to be convincing enough for her to be interested in what is called a blind date. After they've talked her up to get the okay from her, then they would come to me and be like, hey, I know somebody that you might be interested in. And they will give me all of the information that I would need to be wanting to know what she's about. Then, if I agree to the scenario as well, then they would connect us on a blind date scenario, or at least get us to exchange information so that we can start talking to one another so that we can set up that blind date situation. That networking for a positive relationship, even in a Western culture, could still lead to a longer lasting relationship because someone in a different network that is connected to your network might be a better fit for you than the people that you're swiping right on from social media. And because that person is directly connected to your network, you have access to that person, which allows you to make your way over to a, a more successful opportunity in your personal life. In the public market, your identity is often going to be fused with your job. You're a senior analyst. Your self worth becomes dangerously fragile when that happens. If you get laid off, your identity is going to shatter. You're no longer a senior analyst. The hidden economy is going to allow you to build a more robust, diversified identity. You are not just a job title, you are a conductor and a mentor, the guy who organizes the annual camping trips. This armor makes you unshakable. So, yeah, what happens if you lost your analyst job? That's something that y'all can talk about on the camping trip, which also means that if you've been doing a good thing with your analyst job and you only lost it because the company was a government funded company and they got furloughed, then the people on a camping trip can refer you to a company that's looking for an analyst. You can get a middle management job because you've already got experience as an analyst for the federal government, where you didn't even know that this job was available because your identity is not the job. The job is just what you do. Your identity is how you impact your network, right? A layoff becomes a logistical problem, not an existential crisis, because your core self worth remains intact. Look at my identity on this channel. I literally am the guy that brings all of the information to you for your financial success. What I do for a living doesn't impact your value in my information. Whether I'm successful or not, as long as I go live every day, the information that you get from the poor 420p pixelation to the drop frames and the signal drops and the disconnection and reconnections, regardless of even the low quality video feed, you still value the information that you're getting from me because you came here for the information. You didn't come here for entertainment. You didn't come here for high definition. You didn't come here because of the kind of career that I have. You didn't come here from the kind of money that I got sitting on the table next to the video camera. You came here because of what you get from me when you come, because I'm a conductor. This psychological armor has tangible benefits everywhere. So first, it's relationship proofing because a man with a strong social network is a more stable partner. He isn't reliant on his romantic partner for 100% of his emotional support. A robust male network prevents the common pattern where a man's only emotional outlet is his emotional partner, which will strain the relationship and make breakups catastrophic because he's going to have to go through a massive detachment phase because he's going to be unhealthily codependent to the woman because of his lack of outlet. It's going to signal emotional immaturity. Well, no, actually, having your stuff together and having a network is going to show emotional maturity, but not having that network is going to show the immaturity. Second, this network is going to be your long term insurance policy because men who maintain friendships into mid and later life have slower cognitive decline and lower mortality, meaning that you won't die as soon. These are the friends who will advocate for you when you're older. Furthermore, your network becomes your children's internship pipeline, reference pool, and safety net, a form of intergenerational social capital that quietly compounds their advantages lower in life. A man needs multiple outlets. That's right. Make sure that you like and subscribe when you come through here because we give you guys a lot of information on how to make yourselves more successful over time. Or you'll find life getting a lot easier, a lot better, a lot sooner. Finally, your network will act as a propaganda filter, which is how my interaction happened earlier today. It was a filter. We're bombarded with defeatists or exaggerated online narratives about careers, dating, or even politics. And we cover all of those on the show. So when you have a diversified network of real operators on the ground, you have a built in reality check. You can call your friend who runs a factory floor ass and ask them, what are your you experiencing in your particular field? You get to operate with better information than the general public who's going off of those clickbait TikTok feeds. Building this psychological armor is the ultimate end game. It's about building a life so robust and rich in human connection that you're insulated from the shocks of any single career path. So let's bring it all together after everything we've done today. The world that you've been told to compete in, the world of online applications and digital resumes, is a numbers game where the odds are stacked against you. It's a source of anxiety and burnout. But there is another world, a hidden economy that operates on a completely different set of principles, where opportunity flows not through algorithms, but through human trust. The rules are simple, even if they aren't easy. So let's recap. One, trust is the only currency that matters. Build it through depth, consistency, and reciprocity. Even if you're building this with female members of your network, platonic female members of your network. Two, evolve from a node to a connector. Build bridges for others. Three, deliver value sideways. Your peers are your greatest investment. Rise together. Four, master the art of the ask. Make it easy for people to help you. And five, build your psychological armor. Diversify your identity beyond your job title. One more thing I'm going to tell you. When I told you guys about being the conductor and I told you guys about setting up the events, most of you guys like to have a birthday party. And a lot of you pay for your own birthday party. And typically you host it at a nightclub or something like that, where you pay for cover and you pay for drinks on you. You buy a table, get you a bottle, and everybody has drinks. Instead, why not either reserve a section of a restaurant or host it at the house where you invite a specific quantity of individuals that you know or individuals that you don't quite know, but you've been in regular communication with, invite them over and you know, have a bunch of people come over just for the sake of, have a meet and greet, have that as your birthday party. Now, pay attention. This meet and greet from business execs, office managers, all of this other stuff from different companies that you've collected business cards from over the months or years is in fact a business event. I'm telling you this because instead of your birthday party being a financial expense, your birthday party could be a tax deduction. And then all of the people that are coming over for your birthday is not about them celebrating your life. It's about you meeting new people so that you can have more business opportunities going forward. It makes way more sense for you to instead of reserving a room for you guys to get wasted, you could reserve a room so that you can meet 30 new people and find out what they do for a living and how not only can they benefit you, but how can you benefit them. Expand your networks, then save all of your receipts. We're in tax season right now. When next tax season rolls around, your birthday party is a business meeting that is tax deducted. And any refunds on your W-2 from your LLC business meeting, you still get to celebrate your birthday. You're still meeting a bunch of new colleagues, and whatever your business is, you might actually either find some customers, you might find some marketing, or you might find some investors, which makes so much more sense for you. And that's something that not a lot of people think about. So instead of making your birthday party about popping bottles and dancing at the club, make your birthday party about meeting 10 or 15 different companies that you have not had direct contact with before today. Now, you guys got to forget LinkedIn. Yeah, I mean, yeah, use it as a hub for social communication, but the most valuable ledger of your career is going to be online. Even though this is the era of technology, it's in the minds and hearts of the people with whom you built real relationships with. So if you want to, if your goal in life is to be best friends with Elon Musk, then your goal in life is to start having business events and inviting certain employees from Tesla to come and join those events. And you want to start building up, and more individuals that work with Tesla and is going to be invited to more and more of your events. Over the next couple of years, you'll find yourself having the largest majority of Tesla employees at your birthday parties. And eventually Elon Musk is going to hear that a large number of Tesla employees is going to an event that is not hosted by Tesla. And eventually he's going to tiptoe into this event and see what the fuck's going on. And eventually you get to shake hands with Elon Musk because he's got an open invitation if he ever decides to show up. You've got to understand networking comes from you putting effort into getting to know people that you don't know and then maintaining those relationships. Because two things you can do about that. You can host an event for yourself to invite a bunch of people that you didn't know and get to know them. Then you can host a second event to uh, 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 do a happy birthday for them. Now, what happens if you host a birthday party for somebody else? A person of value will reciprocate. So let's say I host a party for myself for my birthday. I invite 30 people. I find out that one of y'all got a birthday next month or the month after. Now, I host your birthday party at my location. What say you? I host one birthday party per year for 12 of the 30 people that I met. Now, those 12 people are likely to do one or two things: pool their money together and give me a better birthday party next year, or they're going to bring a bigger gift. They're going to bring an extra person. They're going to, oh, yeah, he gave me a fantastic birthday party, which is a reference. Now, once a month, you're having a business meeting. Each business meeting, you're eating good food, drinking good drinks, and enjoying time with people that are successful. Now you got 30 people in your contacts that got fucking money, network, power, influence, connections that you didn't have before. So instead of your birthday being about twerking upside down in a nightclub, why is your birthday not about being on Elon Musk's to-do list in the month of 2026? See what I'm saying? See the difference in making yourself a conductor versus being the kind of person that just benefits from showing up places, because you can be a wedding crasher. You can be a wedding crasher and go to everybody's wedding and they just know that you're going to be there. And yeah, you'll benefit from the food and the drinks and the free parking and whatnot. Or you could host those weddings and now you're the go-to guy to get hitched. More people are going to come to you because you're the go-to guy to get hitched. Everybody that talks to him has got a long-standing marriage. You can start charging for that. Even with those business meetings, you can start inviting people to the business meetings for free. Then when so many people start coming, you can start renting out venues to house 150 or 200 people and then charge them cover to get into your birthday party. They're going to pay to cover because it's a business meeting. So instead of y'all giving the bouncer $40 to get into the club, they could be giving you $40 to get into your birthday party when it costs you $20 a person to rent out the venue. You could turn a profit off of the business meeting or at least break even financially and still use it as a tax write-off. But you just met 100 people. And out of that 100 people, you should be able to pay homage to at least 12 of them out of the year. And if you did 12 different people every year out of the 100 people, you did so and so's birthday last year, but you're going to do so and so's birthday this year. First thing they're going to say, oh, yeah, he did my birthday last year. See how this works? Now, when your birthday happened, well, shit, if you just put down $200 on so and so's birthday or $300 on so and so's birthday last year and the year before, you did somebody else's birthday the year before, then when you start charging $60 a person, well, shit, he put like $300, $400 on my birthday. I don't have a problem with paying. He throw good parties. See what I'm saying? Now, take this mindset and throw that onto house parties. Y'all remember house parties when we used to have the house parties as teenagers? Y'all remember the house parties in high school, house parties in college, frat parties? 200, 300 people getting wasted, beer pong, dancing all over the place, inappropriate stuff upstairs. Y'all remember all that? Now, imagine a business meeting with two or 300 individuals and everybody's paying cover, even if it's $20, $30 a person, two or 300 people, that's $4,000 for one event. If it costs you $2,000 to host the event, you got $4,000 off of the event and everybody shows up, or at least 30% of the people show up. You've made enough money to pay off the event, write it off on your taxes, but you've got so many more networks that you're sustaining. That's how you make ends meet. That's how you make things work. This isn't about cheating the system. It's about realizing the system that you were taught to follow is fundamentally broken. The real economy has always been here. It always be here, but it is the economy of human interaction, which is something that we have forgotten a long time ago. Okay. And that's something that we got to get back. One of the reasons why common sense is not so common is because, just like my homeboy earlier today, instead of us going to look for information, we want it to be handed to us for free with no effort from us. And then we want the solution to be handed to us for free with no effort from us. Then we want the work done for us for free with no effort from us. And then we want the profit to come to us for free with no effort from us. And when we don't get any of that, we wonder why it is so hard for us. But the guys at the top 23%, This is the shit that they're doing. This is the shit that they're doing. You should be able to have an inventory of all of the people that are coming to your event, because now you're not just throwing out a bunch of business cards, you're throwing out a bunch of invitations to a bunch of individuals, and then you're going to have them listed plus one. Then you're going to give the names of everybody who came. Now you can show on your tax return that you held a business meeting with 48 or 50 people, 10 from Ford, 15 from Tesla, 16 from Chevrolet. You see what I'm saying? You can show who are they and what company do they represent. And when you're able to show that, you're able to do a tax return that shows that you had 13 companies at your birthday party, which is a business meeting, as a tax deduction. So instead of entertaining other people for the sake of getting self validation from other people's external validation, you can actually make this not about you, but make it about your future and the connections that you have in your future. Now, I want to hear from you guys. What is one small step that you can take this week to start building your own hidden economy? Is it scheduling that coffee? Starting the group chat? Making that introduction that you've been putting off for so long? Drop these ideas into the comment section, and let's hold each other accountable to build this community together, because the more people that come to this podcast, the more people that benefit from this and that, the better all of us will be. And it's going to be universal, because as higher value men, the more effort we put into becoming higher value men, the more value we have for the dating market for those of us that are looking for a companion. The more value that we put into the dating market, the more valuable women will come out of hiding. The more valuable women come out of hiding, the better relationships we have. The flip side of this is that the more valuable men that are found on the market, the more women are going to start prioritizing themselves to be women of value. The more women that are prioritizing themselves to be women of value, the easier it's going to be for men to find women of value. But as long as the men are not valuable, the women don't have to be valuable, because you take what you can get, because you ain't worth shit anyways. But the more men that are of value, the more women will become valuable to gain that man. So it benefits you in more than one way. Now, what we're going to start doing now is, because I got tomorrow's show up there, I'm going to be putting a couple extra shows up there, and I got to go and set up that show that Steven wanted me to set up. Because first of all, we got to set up Tuesday's show for Michael, because we're going to be talking about concierge nurses, and then we're going to be setting up the show for Steven about how to dress professionally, semi-professionally as a man. We're going to be getting all that information out there for you, so that you can improve yourself and improve your wealth and improve your image all the way around. Now, on my way out, I want to say, ladies, as long as the situation doesn't make sense, I'm going to keep asking you ladies to make it make sense. So ladies, please make it make sense. And then fellas, I give y'all this information to help y'all become higher value men, because if you can pay attention to the things in your life that you can control, that you don't like, and make the necessary changes to change that, then you can navigate around the things that are outside of your control. And then ladies, you too, while this is a male-driven podcast with a male perspective, can make yourselves higher value women by taking this information and putting it towards finding your 20-year plan, and then putting effort into succeeding with that 20-year plan. And if you keep an open mind and pay attention to the people around you, you might find you the kind of man that'll help you improve your ability to achieve your goal just that much faster. So with that being said, I want to thank you guys for coming to This and That. I'm your host, Xander, where we talk about this, that, and everything in between. And I'll see you guys.
Chase validation, now I validate my My network is my net worth. Choose your company wise. Surround yourself with eagles, not with sheep in disguise. Every interaction is a reflection of my brand. Quality over quantity, that's my personal command. I'm not landing on higher ground where excellence is found. My potential knows no bounds, raising the bar, breaking ground. I'm not just living, I'm manifesting my vision, cutting through limitations with surgical precision. My expectations are my compass, my respect is my shield to mediocrity and chaos. I will never I'm not just living, I'm manifesting my vision, cutting through limitations with surgical precision. My expectations are my compass, my respect is my shield to mediocrity and chaos. I will never yield.